Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 40-year-old from Coaldale, Alberta, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, Austria, and his jersey is retired in Ravensburg, Deutschland, folks. He returns to the shed after episode 210 with the other Deutsche Meisters of the Tower Stars, has combined for 495 goals, plays, or lessons. He is a staple, legend, and captain with the Medicine Hat Tigers and accumulated 326 points. He then became a CIS Most Outstanding Rookie, or freshman. And then he is a CIS MVP. Folks, that's running amok, because he won back-to-back and scored the tying and overtime winning goal. Folks, he's a gamer. Mucked around in the A with the Houston Aeros and in the coast with the Texas Wildcatters, and then dabbled in Austria before finding a home and becoming a legend and Deutsche Meister, where they retired number 9 in Swansea, 29, folks, but not before he could inspire a young Leon Draisaitl to wear 9 in Swansea. Welcome back to the shed, Ben Thomson.
Thanks for having me, Wally.
Hey, thanks for coming back. Who do we got there beside you? What's your name?
Luke.
Luke, nice to meet you, man. How old are you?
7.
Oh, nice. My
7 years
kid's
old.
just about to turn 10.
Oh, you're right in the honey hole.
Yeah, and then my daughter's actually 7. So, yeah, we're right in your wheelhouse, buddy.
We're just switched. We got 10. What are you guys? You got 2?
Yeah, boy is the older and then girl. So you swap that.
Yeah, we pulled a trick. We pulled a trick and then we're out. 10, 9, and 7.
And where were you guys born?
I was born in Lethbridge.
Lethbridge.
Back home, eh?
Yeah, we have 2 were born in Lethbridge and then Ella was born in Germany.
Okay. Did the nurses speak English?
There is a story about that. I kind of messed up the lost in translation that resulted in not a good deal.
I thought there'd be some similarities between us. Got me too.
I thought Druken was longsome.
Yeah, I thought they said push, and
Yeah,
in fact
me
they didn't say that.
No, they said what I was saying was the opposite of what she was supposed to do. It didn't work so good. So
Yeah.
Will you speak English?
German, buddy.
Yeah.
Was she speaking English?
The
I,
lady-
I can speak English, but ich kann sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch. Can dein
Oh.
Vater sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch?
Ein bisschen.
Ah,
Ein bisschen, ja. So good. We come from a German family, so there's a little bit. We sprek a little bit.
Is that why you left off the P in Thompson?
Right? This is our resident German. This is Ella.
Hi, so you were born in Ravensburg. Probably don't remember it though, eh?
No, probably not.
No. So when did they retire your dad's jersey? Were you alive for that? Did you go over for that then?
They left home.
I think so. I don't know.
They retired it. We lost the land shoot that year in the first round, and they retired it that night. So everyone was home in Canada at that time.
So you're saying you were playing and they retired it like as soon as you were done?
The very last game, we got swept by Landshut my last year in the second round, and it was pretty. The boys from the Cannibals were pretty. They stood on the blue line, and it was awesome. It was pretty. Cool.
The Cannibal boys are awesome, and
yeah,
she's just leaving me now. So you're an Oilers fan?
Very big Oilers fan.
Yeah, probably.
Probably
number 9 in Swansea's your favorite player. Just guessing.
My favorite player is number 29.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I just said it in German, but yeah. I figured that. Yeah, now that I know the story, I've actually taken more of a liking to him too. But I always liked how he played. So
he's a beast, man.
He is.
He's a beast.
Hockey is Dad's number
29. A lot of 29 fans around here. It's a good set of digits.
I find it actually interesting how much attention and publicity McDavid gets compared to him. I don't know if it's just because he's Canadian, because folks, look at the ice time. Look who's playing more penalty kill. I know,
man. I don't know.
And then I hear like the Spit and Chicklets boys saying Connor McDavid is so much better at hockey than anybody else by so far. And I'm like, there's a guy on his team that I might take before him.
Like, come on, man. I think you're better than Spit and Chicklets, just putting that way.
Hey, thanks, buddy. You
Got it,
know,
man. We'll spread the word.
Once like every 100 days, I'm ranked number 1 in the UK, so that's pretty good.
Well, I'm ordering the hoodie, so I'm gonna rock the hoodie out west.
You should get a hoodie.
Oh, I want the hoodie. Looks
Folks,
good.
the hoodies are available at aleshockeytales.com. Just might have to
Sweet.
pay for some shipping because I think they're made in the UK, folks. That's Sean Collins, my website maker guy that helps me out with everything. And
Hey.
that's how fans are watching games in the UK with Shed Boost shirts on, right?
I like the logo. It's pretty slick. Pretty slick.
And that is the story's been told in the shed before, but that's Lee Freeman. He's my poster maker guy. He does everything for me. He's
That's
made
cool.
like your episode like 232, man. You know how many posters this guy's made me?
A lot. Well, and I was scanning the lineup there you've had. I mean, I was chuckling. I've been pretty busy listening to all the boys when I've been working here, so it's been pretty good. A lot of fun.
And you've been out in the tractor listening then, or what?
Oh, all the time. I throw her on there, put her on we got a little stereo that I can sync it with my phone, and away I go. I don't like listening to radio anymore, so I listen to you.
It actually warms my heart when people tell me they listen. When I hear shed guys are listening around the world, it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back in the game, man. I get so many texts and like everything, so it's cool stuff.
That's perfect.
That
is. It's good. Everyone forgets about us, eh? Us Boondye players.
Well,
so
and then like when you get back, you kind of forget what you did too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You get into the kid routine and all that stuff, and you're like, huh.
You don't even like. So I got you back to. I could talk about how we know each other, and you came on with Levs, Maloney, and Kitcher, and that's what I love about this is that. Like Kinter was saying, you guys hadn't even been talking. And when I was asking for phone numbers, some guys were like, well, Benny's like off the grid, man. I don't even know if he's got anything out there.
Yeah, we kind of keep a pretty private lifestyle out here. That's for sure. So I think Doc or Kincher, he invited us to come up for his party at the Stampede there a couple years back. And night, guys.
Good night, guys. Nice meet ya.
But no, we haven't been in contact, so it's pretty cool to see all the boys, and I'm hoping next summer we can get together.
Well, that's what like this is all about for me.
That's all you, man. That's on you.
The Deutsche Meisters I was with in Bietigheim a couple years earlier, like Justin Kelly, Doug Andrus, Greg Schmidt, like there's so many guys that like I hadn't talked to in so long, and then you get them in the shed and you just fall right in the groove, you know? Honestly, in the honey hole.
That team, Wally, I've always dreamt I would love to play that team against our team and the Munich team.
I agree. I think the Munich team was pretty much the same one in the middle there. So you won, we won before that, but we beat Munich. We had our best team. We beat Munich, and then they came back with like the same team the next year, and then our budget went down and we had no depth, and I got hurt, and you know,
you blew your knee out that time, didn't you?
4 game. Well, it was the first preseason game, and they said I had 3 different doctors tell me what to do. One guy says 4 to 6 weeks, which is the first regular season game is 4 weeks away. So naturally, the team says, let's go with what that guy said, and let's make it 4 weeks, not 6 weeks. And then
full of stuff.
Then before the pregame skate, the coach, we're doing like the team stretch around center, and he says, and we'll have Wally back unless he's a pussy. And I was like, well, I'll play tonight. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, no pressure.
Yeah. So I had lasted 4 games, and then I completely tore my PCL, and then I was done for the year. So thanks, buddy.
Did you get a little kickback on retirement at all because of that? Or
well, I got a shed out of the deal.
Good enough. Better than no shed.
Yeah, you're right. It's a bit painful, but the BG's a thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Absolutely.
So for the folks that don't know that are just tuning in for fun, is in Germany, if hockey players get hurt, you are somewhat covered if you have to switch careers because of an injury, right? Yeah.
I mean, there's some perks. There are some perks.
Right. And other countries don't have that, folks. You go to Denmark, you go to the UK, don't have that deal. You get hurt, it's, well, thanks for coming, right?
Right. Thanks for shedding the blood.
Yeah. So how we know each other is we played against each other for
a few years.
Well, all 5 years, right?
Yeah.
5 years. So the 1 year I was hurt a bunch, but Ravensburg versus Bietigheim. And then I saw when you got there was when I was in Landshut.
That's right. Yeah. Who was the little guy that was just a crusher out there? Oh, Thompson was his name, wasn't his name?
On
Scott?
land suit?
Thornton.
Oh, that guy was after me there. Cody
Oh,
Thornton.
Cody Thornton. That's it. Yeah, he could hit.
Yeah. It is
for
a fun
160
league though, eh? I found it fun.
Oh.
Like you had your
Yeah.
team and I had my guys and we would battle. And it's funny
Oh.
because those top 4 teams that have the budget, she's go time when you play each other.
Oh, and Schwinnigan, that was always, I would love beating those dirty, rotten rascals. I did
Oh,
not like
Schwinnigan.
beating
They were a
them.
bunch of punks, weren't they?
Were they? They
Oh,
were.
they
Just,
were.
just douchebags.
They really were. Do you remember yeah, I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah.
when I finished second in the league in scoring and you see the guy, I think it was the guy in Schwinnigan that beat me.
Yeah.
And when it would be cold weather, he'd be wearing like the full neck thing, like covering his whole face, like it was that cold. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna lose to this guy. Then you'd see him chisel and assist, and you're like, I am gonna lose to this guy.
Right? Just a greaseball chiseler.
Yeah.
And you and Kells, you and Kells are pretty formidable, man. That was a good.
We like to call each other big and little sexy.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
But yeah, our power play, I talked about it, was the best power play I ever played on. And it was so simple. It was just an overload with me and him. And then Doug Andrus walking the line as a righty.
Oh, it was pretty formidable, man. It was tough. I remember that was tough defending because I'd always try and take your guys' side. And then after a while, I was like, our coach was like, you can't penalty kill these guys. You're getting eaten alive.
Well, and then it's funny because then you'd go out there with lefts and Maloney, and then I was like, all right, come
We're
on.
done.
Yeah.
I sent that picture and I had to send that in there for the lineup there.
I got that on your poster picture.
Right.
That was a really cute photo of the 3 of you by the net.
I had to dig in the tickle trunk and I couldn't believe I found that one. So it was a beauty.
Yeah, no, that's a good line though, because I was already a fan watching you play, and then you bring Levs onto the same line. That's just not even fair. And then you get Maloney mucking it up around the net, right?
Oh. Old school, man. Old school.
Well, that's a line though, right? You get Levs going around with his duck feet, you skating around real fast, dishing it, and then you got Maloney just mucking it.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So, also how we know each other is right after that episode, I got sent a video, I think it was from Maloney, of Hockey Night in Canada. And you were on Hockey Night in Canada, all dolled up, eh?
I know, right? I had to put
are all gussied up for the ball.
Well, I had to put the Grecian in the hair and
a lot of product, eh?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Had a little thing wrote out and practiced.
So
it.
did you write that out or did they tell you? Because I was wondering who told you to say service. I forgot about that word.
Well, that was me and Leon's thing, eh? Like, because he could speak. He was just like 11, 12-year-old guy, and we'd always, us Canadians, make fun of servus, and
service.
So we'd be like service. And then, so that was the way his kind of introduction into us Canadian or Western Canadian humor sort of thing. And he would just sit and soak it, all the just the nattering that had happened in the dressing room, as you can imagine. So that's where that would come along. Where I said,
and that's why you said service to start, because that's how they would say hello in like Bavaria area. But I don't think it wasn't in Bietigheim. They weren't saying that.
What did you guys say in Bietigheim? Grüß
Yeah, Triscuits.
Triscuits. I remember Grüß was always like
shoot a goose.
And Savus.
You have your ways of remembering the language, right?
That's right. Coffee. I'd always remember coffee Teppo Numanen.
What?
I remember it was a coffee Tumit Naaman.
Oh, Tumit Naaman. That means to go.
Coffee Teppo Numanen is what I always remembered it.
So the first year in Landshut, the coach didn't speak English. And he just would speak German the whole year. And I had one meeting with him the whole year, and it was about being fat. And and yeah, anyways, that was the only time he spoke English to me, and the rest of the time we just didn't speak. I just played.
Hey, that's it.
And
right?
Hey, that's hockey. But the end, we win the semifinals. We're going to the finals, and we swept it. So the boys all go out, and we're getting in one. And I remember the boys having a laugh. I'm like, what is Hopticky Duelt? I'm like, what is this Hopticky Duelt? He says it every game. It has to be important. Yeah. And they're like, that just means have patience. Like, I thought this was like the game plan all year.
It's the game plan. Have patience.
Yeah. Hopticky Duelt.
Well, there you go. right?
Yeah. So you did your German got pretty good by the end though?
At the end, it was pretty good because the first few years I tried to immerse myself as much as I could, and I kind of like challenges and that sort of thing, and so I really try. I worked really hard at it as good as I could. Anyways, I wasn't fluent by any means.
Well, you know what? I got pretty good by the end, but yeah, it wasn't like I didn't do courses or anything. I just kind of went out with the boys. Right?
I remember there was a guy locally from our part of the world. You probably know his name, Calvin Elfring, and he played in Straubing, and he was
he's a shed guy, man.
Hey,
he's been to the shed.
Obvious. And I've never seen a Canadian, actually a Southern Albertan, speak as it was pretty impressive.
And some young shed guys that are going over there nowadays, when they go, I just let them know from my experience is that it's worthwhile for yourself to make the effort to learn German, but also it matters to the fans. It matters.
Huge.
It matters to your teammates, the Germans, that like,
well, you're in their world, man.
Yeah. And that you're showing that like you want to be there and that you're into it. You know,
well, and it's cool. It's such a cool culture, right? And it's cool to be around the history and all that stuff. And man, it was pretty. It was a neat, really good experience.
So that's another. I was talking about all the shed guys with jerseys retired. So yours is up in the rafters of Ravensburg, and Alfie's is in Straubing.
Yeah.
Wild times. Yeah. Justin Kelly's is in Bietigheim, you know?
Well, absolutely. Kel's got to be in there.
Oh, big
Yours
sexy.
should be there too, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, I was there for the good times, but then I stayed for the bad times. And I guess if you stay for the bad times, then that's what they remember, you know? Yeah. You know, you stay loyal through the
Kel's,
crunch, and then you don't do well. And then they bring in this little redheaded guy that just hates you. He just hates you. And you're like, I don't even know what I did.
What happened? What happened?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, Kel's, I think he played in Ravi for a year and was all over that. Like,
did you play with him then? Because
I didn't. I was.
He ran a muck there.
Oh, hey, it was like Levy numbers.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And he just would cruise around. Just big reach. Oh, man. Yeah. Good stuff. So in that hockey night in Canada thing, then, how nervous were you? How'd you feel?
I was more kind of caught off guard, to be honest. I was actually doing chores in the morning, and I got a phone call from Scott Oak.
Like that day?
That morning, and he's like, "You want to do something?" And actually, what started it when I used to play for the Bears, our radio guy was Bob Stauffer, who is now the color guy for the Oilers. And so he told the story, and then it kind of went from there. So I know Bobby pretty well.
So he told guys at Hockey Night in Canada, and then they're like, well, let's do something here.
Let's do something with this. And then actually Louis DeBrusque, that's a really cool story. When my last year with the Bears, this is when his boy, Jake DeBrusque, was just a little 4 or 5-year-old. And Louis was 2 games shy of his 500, whatever, his pension game. And so I think Sutter was coaching for Calgary, let him skate with us to get in shape. And so he would be skating with us with the Bears. And he ate pretty clean. And I remember we'd always come in the dressing room at practice, and Jake would be like, "Jake, you're going for McDonald's tonight." And then so he'd be doing a little extra work. And so sweet Lou would hop in the dressing room, and Jake would be like, "We're going to McDonald's." Louis like, "No, we're not.
No, we're not. I'm making a comeback."
Right?
Yeah. Because I did, when I was watching that, Louis DeBrusque does ask Leon, like, do you know about the University of Alberta goal to win the national championship? And he didn't know anything about it, eh?
No one knows about it. So
I didn't know about it, but man, I posted that shit on Insta today, man. I put that up. Yeah.
Sweet, man. That's nice.
That's what the kids are doing these days. So I put it up there, and I said, like, you know what? That goal to tie it up.
Yeah.
That was, that was a spinneroonie.
That's somewhere I don't know what I blacked out. I can only.
But like that was 30 seconds left, and you got like a little 1-on-2 in the corner there, and you did a whoop, and then you did a whoop, and then you're in. Then a full schlag shoes.
Far down, baby.
So that was a schlag shoes, folks. That means a slap shot. You really got your tits into that one, eh?
Oh, I wound up, and there wasn't much spot. I had to let her buck.
Yeah,
I knew there wasn't much. So it was a
And
beauty.
so then you tied it up. That was a packed barn. Eh? I didn't realize that
Well-
the CIS got fans like that.
Well, that was such a perfect storm in Edmonton because there's such hockey crazy up there. And that was during the lockout. So at that time,
So they've been itching for some hockey.
there was well, they did. They had the American League team, but they didn't get a lot of fan base there. And so the Bears are always a big deal in Edmonton. Like always, we'd always pack house every single game. And then just with the
how many are we talking?
4,000 or 5,000 for sure. Like full of just pie-eyed students, man. Like it was always.
And that's at the University of Alberta because you were playing in
at the Claire Drake. You betcha. Great barn, man. That's an unbelievable program.
Well, yeah, you guys ran amok while you were there, but that game was in the Oilers building then.
The Rexall, yeah, I think there was 17,000 there or something like that. So it was pretty cool. It was really cool.
And tied it up and then won it in OT.
You betcha.
So you had to get into it after that game then, eh?
It was about a couple weeks we got into it, and the funny thing was finals was right around the corner. So I remember there was a few days I showed up to the finals with a poncho on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, but winning is fun, but it's also exhausting, right?
I know when you're a student for sure, no one really cared, but we got her done. That's all.
Yeah, you got through her.
Yeah, absolutely. Made it better.
So what does the University of Alberta do that night after you win the national championship on TSN? That's got to be cool playing on TSN.
It was really cool.
And then scoring the 2 big goals. Geez, you're having a night.
Yeah, it was a night. It was such a whirlwind that time because, like I said, the Oilers weren't playing, so I mean we were basically the toast of the town for a little bit. That was our shining kind of stage, I guess, and it was an exciting time. We partied pretty hard. We had a lot of fun, and it was just good times. Good guys. A lot of those guys were in my wedding party, to be honest with you.
Well, that goal to tie it up, I was a big fan of that one. And then the other one was just like an overtime mucking it up.
Get in there, muck it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the spinner-rooney, I was a big fan of the spinner-rooney. I'm sure you saw me do that, and then between the legs,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's standard business.
not to pad the stats again, but we won the next year in Rexall as well. But there was only, I think, 10,000 in that game.
So was that your first year? That
was my second year. Second and third year I won both. We did back-to-backs. And I don't know if there's still a team that's done back-to-back yet.
So who did you beat in the finals then?
Well, Saskatchewan. That was a hardcore rivalry. That was man, that was old school hockey, man.
Because I always hear about these schools from out east now, right?
Yeah. At that time, it might have changed. I mean, in my opinion, Wally, CIS is probably the most underrated hockey in North America for quality and entertainment and just the sheer intensity. Man, those guys are playing for the love. No money, you're grinding, you got finals, midterms, and you're playing for your buddy beside you. It's the best. And the quality is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know how the high end teams are. I know the Ontario loop maybe isn't the strongest. And
your top ends are the best. I remember UNB, New Brunswick always had solid teams. I don't remember many guys being that strong from Ontario, to be honest with you.
And that's what I've been around. And that's, like when we're at Western Michigan, we're playing schools from the Ontario area and they weren't that good.
Yeah. It's, you have your select few in CIS for sure.
But I totally agree with what you say about not making money and playing for the love.
It was awesome.
Then, another way I get into how we know each other though, was our text messages are funny. When you talk about, the shed guys that I call them around the world that not many people know about, a lot of us were doing it for the love. A lot of us realized maybe we should stop and start life and go home, but we like playing hockey,
Yeah. Love the boys, man.
Yeah. But when you watch leagues where guys aren't making money and you see the passion, that's what hockey's about,
That's what she's all about, man. I think that element's been lost a little bit here, not to get into all that stuff, but the game needs that. It needs some of that more.
I hear you. And then, so I think it's exciting. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous now that I got my heart set on it. The little fella and I have been chatting and decided to put my name in to coach
the Trips,
the AAA the inaugural season of the Grey Bruce Highlanders for 2012. They've never had a
First
team.
season.
They've never had a team for this age group because of all the baloney, and then they didn't have one this year. Nobody got it going.
Yeah.
So
I don't know anyone better, more qualified than you, Wally.
Well, and coaching these kids around here has brought back my passion and love of the game. The shed has brought back my passion and love of the game. And to be honest, I was thinking about it and I was talking to the little guy and that he wanted to do it. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I build a squad and recruit a team? And if I start now, I got months to do this. And I can teach people how I think hockey should be. And I could start it from scratch and I could do it my own way. But now I just got to get the job, right? So,
hey, you got a fire in your eye in the belly. Things are look out.
I mean, I think if they did let me do it, I would do my best. And and that's what I love about the job I got is I emailed the CEO this Saturday when I thought of it. And I'm like, before I put my name in for this, I need to get your approval. There's going to be days I got to leave early. There's going to be days I got to go. And he said that, I have his approval and that he knows my work ethic and I'll get her done and my team will. So I very much appreciate that. And if they give her to me, she's go time, right?
When do you know if you get it?
Well, they said that people can put in names till the 30th of November and then there'll be 2 weeks of interviews. And then I guess, yeah.
Huh. So the season's not going. It's for next year then.
For next year. So they're trying to make up who's going to be the head coach for next season because there is no team this year. Yeah. So then I'd have to get out to some of these small towns around here and maybe check out some young fellas,
What kind of grit and sandpaper they got.
Right. Yeah. The characters.
Characters, number one, man.
Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was it kind of got my juices flowing again. I hope it works out because now I kind of have my heart set on it, right?
I'm confident in you, buddy. I think it's going to happen. It feels good.
We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. But anyways, where and what are you doing now?
Well, for a job occupation right now, I farm with my father-in-law. I've been doing that ever since been back. And
how many acres are we talking here?
Well, it's a little bit different. We more specialize in row crops, so we do lots of seed canola production and dry edible beans. We got out of corn a couple years ago, and we sold our cow calf operation. So we kind of run a standard. We got grains and pulses and standard kind of a 4 or 5 year rotation crop. What we do. So it's all mostly under all pivots. So it's big circle irrigation setups that we run. So it's not really acres. We have a few circles that keep a guy out of trouble, put it that way. There's a few balls.
I don't know that because they're around here. It's mainly corn and beans and it's up and down,
Yeah. We got it where we're at. It's it's primo farm ground. I mean, there's no fences. It's good. Very, very, it's probably the best soil in North America. And
so speaking of the best soil in North America, I think last time you mentioned your wife got into a cannabis.
That's right. 5-6 years ago, I think it's about 6 years. We were actually, the aches and pains that you have with the body after hockey, and
just a couple,
And my wife is she was a pharmacist originally, and her sister was an RN originally, and then they weren't really. They kind of disagree with how the medical industry is run, and so just the
looking for alternatives, you could say.
Yes, exactly. So that's where it led our path to there. So
no, it's very interesting. I got my background with the painkillers you took, right?
Yep.
In Germany, I'm sure Ravensburg was dishing them out too.
Because needles, injection.
Man, God, yeah. I remember playing a game. My shoulder was separated and they're like, okay, we're going to, they said it's not going to get worse but it's just dealing with the pain. Right? So then he freezes it right before we're going to go for warm up because they said that it's probably going to wear off by the second period. So we tried to wait as long as we could. So I literally can't move my arm. Then we're going up for warm up. He's like, okay, now they shoot me in the shoulder and I pass out. I'm sleeping in the trainer's room and the boys are walking out for warm up and there I am out cold. And then I come to And then they give me like a few minutes, and then I'm like, all right, like I'm ready. And then I go out and do my warm up, and they're like, oh, is he gonna go down? What's happening? And then I talked to the doctor after. He's like, yeah, might have mixed her a little too strong.
Oh man. Well, there's probably chock full of cortisone, full of badness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
damn, I remember I'd get scolded, be like, she's like, you took another needle. And I was like, yeah, I did. She goes, this is not good.
You're not. Yeah. If you need
you're not
needles to
supposed to
get
take
through a
that.
regular season game, maybe you should just take the night off.
Right.
But
So
they do want, but you know what? They want the imports to play the games.
well, and I mean, you don't play. You got 7 guys behind you trying to take your spot.
Well, and
So
and then they just like, it's like when I hurt my knee, they brought in a new 5'7" right-handed fast guy, right?
Right. Yeah.
You don't think that hurt?
Thanks, fellas.
Yeah.
Right.
Why didn't you just get a tall guy or something? Make it look a little different.
The exact beer player. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Well, I
Tommy
guess
Gobble.
it shows you what is they say the flattery is. Oh, what is it? Whenever someone gets the exact same,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
But they always want to play with the younger, newer toys, you know.
Right? Yeah.
Anywho,
So that's what kind of work we do. We grow a little bit of the hemp on the outdoor cultivation too. So that's where we make, or Beck makes the CBD oil, and
so
I'm a
CBD
huge
comes
proponent
from
of
hemp.
That comes from hemp. It lacks the THC, so that doesn't get you buzzy or high or anything like that with those strains. So it's a
Right,
strictly
and but
for
it takes
medicinal
away
purpose.
pain, right? Yeah.
Takes away inflammation. I had here. I'll start give a little pump for the business here, but
Do it.
I had terrible restless leg syndrome. I don't know if I'm sure a lot of the hockey boys out there do or know what restless leg syndrome is, and you have a little bit of that good stuff, and you feel good, man. You're ready to roll. You're ready to kick some butt the next day.
Yep. Yeah, like it can help you sleep and all sorts of stuff. There's a fella coming on Thursday that's playing in Herning. I guess he started a CBD company too.
No kidding.
Yeah, so he's
Well,
actually doing it while he's playing, and I guess they've gotten acquired or all sorts of shit. Yeah.
Well, there's I mean, it's kind of like it's reflected of anything happening nowadays, a little bit too much government involvement.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
we don't, that's a whole podcast in itself.
That's yep. That's different than this one.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
well, good for him. Well, good luck on hopefully it works out for him.
No, but yeah, like it's cool, but you guys are into it because I thought it was bizarre. All the pills they toss us to be out there. Can't be good when they're making it in a factory and making it in a pill form when you guys can grow it in the soil. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that out loud.
Just, I mean, I know so many guys with arthritis, and now they'll eat 5 to 15 Tylenols a day, but
right.
What's wrong with something that's grown in a garden? I don't know.
Right. That doesn't make much. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving on.
Yep.
And you got the 3 kids and you're farming, right?
Yep.
Busy.
Very, very busy. Yeah. They're all in 4-H and boxing, and we like to do quite a bit of skiing. So it keeps us rolling pretty good.
Skiing. That was one of your poster pictures. You guys are into skiing.
Yep,
so where do you do that around there?
There's a quiet little, it's kind of like a cowboy ski hill. It's called West Castle. No one really knows about it. It's got the most, I want to say most vert in Alberta, and probably it rivals BC. Kind of a little hidden gem, only a couple hours away from here. And so that's our hill. We like to pound that out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So the whole family's into it?
Oh yeah, the kids were born on the hill. Basically, they're little rippers. It's quite fun watching them. They're pretty cool. They're all in ski clubs.
And you did say you're out of hockey. You're out of the game.
Yeah.
You're not really involved in any way?
None one bit. I'd rather be on the mountain, so it's all good.
And the little guy I just met, he's not playing?
They don't. They never really enjoyed, or I guess we play shinny, all on the dugout sort of thing. But they never really.
Yeah, I got a passion for it.
And I'm not. I said I'll never be the dad that's carrying the bag to practice. So.
Oh God, no. Yeah, it's like when we show up to the rink, and if I see a dad on the other team carrying the kid's bag in, I'm like, Colby, look at that. You cannot lose this game.
Right?
you cannot lose. You cannot lose to a kid who can't carry his own bag into the arena.
That's a cake eater.
Yeah. You can't do that.
No.
But like my kid is as into it as a kid can be.
Hey,
It's
that's
wild.
awesome.
Yeah. And I don't
That's-
I don't push it. It's him.
Hey,
My whole outlook is they gotta want it, not you.
hey, right? That's their journey, man. They do what they want to do. And I mean, it's a big commitment, right? To play a hockey, and they gotta want to do it. So
Oh, they have to. Yeah, it can't be the parents' idea. So another poster pick. Kid on the
Yeah.
ice in Ravensburg. So you did
Yeah.
have the gal in Ravensburg. So was that how much time did you have? How many games did you take her out for? Was it a season or what?
No, she was born in February, so we had 2 months. She watched a few games there, and as soon as Beck was able to get her home, and we had lots of help. Grandparents showed up over there, and it was a really cool experience. And the town, honestly, Wally, I mean, I don't know much about Biedenheim, but Robbie was such a huge part for not only me but my family, and they just opened basically the city. They adopted us, and it was cool. They I didn't want to do it, but they're like, you got to bring her out on the ice and stuff. And I was like, I'm pretty low key, that sort of thing. And so they want to do the whole thing. And it was an awesome, we got to, they're doing their,
Oh yeah, you do the hands up and
the
the
hands,
whole deal.
and they're singing. And it was a pretty cool event. Pretty neat experience. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's interesting for me in that way. It's like when I got to Biedenheim, I mean, yeah, when I went out on the ice, they called me Mr. You know, they say everybody's first name and then the crowd shouts the last name.
Yeah.
I got the Mr. before Brent, right? I was Mr. Brent. And then, and that was like, I was like the guy there. They loved me. And we win the championship. Well, we win the championship my first year there, as second league in scoring. And then the next year I blow up my knee. And then after that year, the budget's going down. And they're like, I don't have many places to go because I just missed the whole season with a blown out knee, and their budget's getting cut. And then they tell me like, it'll be this many years till we're back, but you stick with us, whatever. And then you do it. But like, I didn't have many places to go. And then we did suck. And then it wasn't as fun when we lost. And then I think that's what they remember is the last couple of years where we're like battling to make the playoffs. It was disgusting.
I don't. I just think they remember you, so they can. I don't. No way. They remember. They remember Wally for sure.
Well, they did call me Kugelblitz for a while. That means round lightning, folks.
Lightning. The best.
They even wrote it on my contract. That's what I knew I belonged. When you guys are accepting that I'm fat and fast, that's cool. Finally, just somebody leave me alone about it.
There you go.
So another poster pick. That was the German trophy you were drinking out of?
Yes, downtown, the Mittelstadt. And I don't know if you can tell that
the Fußgänger zone.
That's Genau de Punkt.
Genau, that's the walking street, folks. The Fußgänger zone.
And I don't know if you can tell, but the man with the beard, that's Maloney right beside me in that photo. So that was we had some good.
Is that the day of the parade or what?
Day before, if I believe.
You guys really did her up, a few days long.
Well, we won at home, and the city basically shut down, and everyone bum rushed the ice. It was just like watching the old '80s Oiler Stanley Cup videos, man. Like guys are jumping.
Did you think it was going to be as big of a deal as it was?
No, I didn't really know what to expect. Because Schwinnigan was all year long. That was, I don't know if you remember, but Schwinnigan was supposed to be the team that was.
Was that when that hacker guy was on that team?
That guy, yeah. And they were they basically ushered them in the DL that next year. And we were like, no, that's not happening. And so we kind of had took that motivation, those guys. No one wanted us to win. So, and then we ended up doing it at home, and it just went unglued. It was pretty cool.
It is bizarre. My first year in Landshut, we did go to game 5 of a best of 5 in the finals against Castle. We lost in overtime, and we were a goal away from winning. And I think the team knew, I guess, that they didn't have the money to go up. Yeah. They didn't want to or something. Everybody was so happy we went as far as we did and almost won it with our team that like we had like a 3-day like championship party and we didn't even win. It was nuts.
funny.
All the fans were all like chanting for
You're like,
us.
whoa.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, like we didn't win.
Yeah, well,
But then
hey,
beating Heim, you win it, man. And I tell you, I
win.
didn't know winning was going to be like that.
Oh, winning's so good. And you're so banged up. And that was the cool because I mean, the U of A champion, I've been so blessed to have so many cool things in my hockey career. And I mean, the U of A was an incredible experience, both. We did have to do all the rounds and the playoffs to get to the nationals, but that's where the year in Germany was so special because you went through the 7-game series and you're hanging on one shoulder, and you know what it's like.
Well,
You're
winning is fun, but it's really hard. It's like really hard when we were texting there and we were talking about winning for some reason, and you said it gets in your blood, and it sure does. Once you do it, man,
you're hungry.
Yeah.
You're
really?
hungry.
Yeah.
Well, and my junior career wasn't. It was a little different because the first few years we sucked so bad, and I'm sure we'll go into that a little further. But I mean, I got a taste of it my last year, and that was part of the big reason why I went to the U of A. I just wanted to. I was hungry. I wanted to win.
Right. And the thing is, though, like you talk around enough in your shed, there's guys that go through their career never knowing what it feels like, never even coming close. And like, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, it's incredible, and like, I remember we'd sit on buses and you talk to guys that have won stuff and you're just trying to, what's it like? How do and you don't know until you go through it. It's incredible. It doesn't, I remember I had a coach and he said, it doesn't matter if it's the NHL, American League, or winning's winning, man. You'll always walk together.
Absolutely. And like, that is really how I can start a shed, is the relationships from winning, right? Because if I would have got put out first round most of my career, man, I'm not in that good of contact with the people I got put out first round with. It's just not how it works.
It's the guys you win with.
Or even making it to the finals, though, and you really gave her, like the Daytona Beach Bombers of Ohio and the East Coast. Like, you go through 4 rounds and you get to the finals and like you just weren't quite good enough, but like everybody knew what we went through together. Like, those relationships last forever.
You're blood brothers, man. You're bonded. Who you're going into the foxhole with. One of those deals, right?
Well, I looked at a picture of us after our championship with Bietigheim, and like my hand was taped up. Oh, I'm taped up with ice, and like Kel's face is all bruised and battered.
It's the best.
It's hockey. Yeah,
it's the best, man. It's awesome. It just fires the guy up.
It does. It makes regular seasons boring too, though. Once you play those games, it's like, can we just get to the playoffs?
I guess that's why I don't do much anymore with hot, but I love hunting, man. Because it's it's kind of the same, very similar, just the way it is, just with how challenging.
Once you get back to the hunt camp, though,
you get in the camp and you're sitting around with some of the boys and the fellas and you're just grinding, man. You're just working so hard for one goal, and when it comes together, and doesn't matter who's doing it, it's such a trophy and an incredible experience. It's very special. I guess that's kind of the reason why a guy enjoys hunting as well.
So you're right into it. You're passionate about it. And I see some of the things behind you there on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I couldn't see myself sitting there and waiting without talking to people. I guess I like talking to people too much.
Well, I mean, my background is my dad's an outfitter, so he's been in the hunting business as long as I've been. I mean, he's a taxidermist by trade, my dad, and so that was my first job as a young buck, was being the back slinging hides and knives. So I was his cape skinner, and so I've always been.
Sorry, what? A cape
skinner, you gotta, like, when you take that, you gotta flesh out to make leather sort of thing on the hide, on what goes around the animal, basically the fur. So that was my job. So I kind of grew up with the whole industry and everything like that, and so it instilled a passion of the outdoors, and my wife has a passion for the outdoors too. So that's where that comes from, I guess. But
that's cool.
It piggyback with the hockey thing, and it's so similar, and the challenges and the feelings of what we're still competitive, right? We still still have that. We still got that, just because we're done.
Yeah, and you want to be good at what you're doing. I'm the same with anything. If I'm at work, if I'm doing anything, I want to be good at what I'm doing.
Well, yeah,
Sucking sucks.
fucking brutal, man.
Yeah.
No one likes a loser.
Well, and like for me, it's with the competitiveness and like you lose it there when you transition out of hockey. I had lost it. I didn't have anything that was getting my juices flowing for a while. But then I coached my son's team last season and I got to know all the kids. And then like when you get to know them and you get a bond with them, like
yeah,
I was at their last game watching, and I stand at the glass because I like watching from ice level. And I'm standing there during warmups, and literally 6 of the kids, like during warmup, saw me and we locked eyes. And none of them saw the other ones. They came up and all gave me a fist bump through the glass and like looked at me like I'm ready to go, coach. And I'm not even their coach. And I was like, I'm into this, man. Like I got to do this. And then like the next day I put my name in to do this because we're gonna do it.
You needed just a little bite, you know?
Yeah, but like when those kids look at you and then give you a fist bump through the glass, and you just see them look at you, and you're like, oh God, yeah. And then you're like, when we'd win together, you know, hit Boston Pizza and like crush Coca-Cola out of the trophy. That's living,
right?
And hockey's hockey. Whether it's a parade in Germany, whether it's Boston Pizza, Kid Carden, you win a trophy and you're drinking out of it. Doesn't matter what age you are. That's hockey.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Like I remember even as a young buck in minor hockey, we won a couple provincial titles as a kid, and the parents. I mean, to this day, you see some parents, and you're like, I remember. It just bonds you, man.
Winning, right?
Winning.
Yeah. So when they retired your jersey, what all went on? You're saying like the game ends, you guys get put out, and then they're like, okay, stop, everybody. This guy's done.
Well, I remember I was pretty injured my last year. I was kind of the same situation where you're at with the knee.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have been playing, but it is what it is. And I tried eking out. And then so I knew I was kind of done.
Because you looked like you played you played like 10 playoff games that year, I think.
Oh, it was not good. It wasn't fancy. We had that was a bummer because we had a really, really solid team that year. Some really good players. Is a legend, Bob Wren. I don't know if
Bob Wren. I meant to bring him up with Kincher that I just had on. And go back to Bob Wren, but Kincher, when he came on, I wanted to say this. I think it's funny. It's like I know what I'm talking about with hockey. I posted after he came on, I said, that is a captain I would play for any day. And then the next day you text me and I said, just had Kincher on, and you said, I would go through a wall for him. What a captain.
What a captain, man.
And that was the day after I posted, this is a guy I would play for any day.
What a man. He was class.
Just a first class dude. Just a great guy.
Great family. I mean, Mama Ken, she was awesome. Those kids, actually, their kids were kind of the reason why we started having kids, to be honest. We're like,
because they were good ones. It's like when people see a good dog, they think they're all going to be like that.
I mean, this can't be that bad, right? So, and just what a class, man. I mean, you want to talk about running a muck in junior. I think I was dash 40 my first year in junior because of him and those fools in the Hitman.
And I was trying to make a push when he came to the shed that they should have his jersey retired there. When I saw those numbers and I saw what they did, that's embarrassing. Right? Get it to the rafters.
It's such a joke how, because you got to have the show games and all that nonsense. Man, that guy ran that team. That was his team, 100%. I seen it from the ice.
Wow, and he's a captain. You can just tell that, like you can just, who are captains. It's like, I remember when Cardiff recruited me to come in and the coach calls me Andrew Lord. You probably played against him, right? He was in Garmisch, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I remember. Okay.
No, I might've been in Hellbron actually. I think you're already gone. But anyways, he calls me and he's like asking about captains and assistants for the year. And I said, I'm not a captain. I'm like, I'm an assistant captain. I'm like, that's who I am. Right. I don't need that. I just want to be. I just want to be one of the guys. Like nowadays, I've grown into it. You get older, you grow into that type of shit. But back then, I just wanted to be one of the boys. I don't want to be the captain. Let me just go.
I just want to play, man. I just want to play. Yeah, just want to play.
Okay, Bob Wren, though, when I talk about
Yeah.
power play guys, because that's what I know, Bob Wren on the
Oh.
goal line was,
Oh.
I thought, was the best goal line power play guy I might have ever seen.
Ever. Down low, man, that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when we
Little
got
stick,
him,
right? Little
Yeah.
stick.
when we got him, he was 30. He was like my age right now. So, I mean, wasn't his prime, but he still could. Well, put it this way, our first game together, I was really excited to play with him. I think I got 4 goals.
Being excited to play with someone does matter.
Yeah, and I think they were all 3. I was 3 empty netters, to be honest with you. And then the second game is when things started creeping. I got injured in the summer, and it just started. It wasn't good. So that was a real bummer. I really looking forward to playing with Bobby. And
Yeah.
man, I even my first year in Austria, I remember there were stories about Bobby Wren in the Austrian league and what a player he was. So it was kind of
I
cool.
remember it. My first, so I don't know. I got issues when it comes to watching hockey. There's just players that stick out to me, and I remember that player forever.
Oh,
I remember he played for the Leafs, and I was like, who is this little fellow that is just ripping around making plays?
Just zipping, man. Like
zipping and making plays. And I'm like, this guy should be a regular. And then to me, it's bizarre when you see a guy like that and they play like that in the NHL. And you're like, well, that's a full timer. That guy should be there every night.
Right?
And then they just aren't. And you're like, I don't get it.
I don't know. There's a few guys I remember that. And I was like, they can't play. I can't play.
Yeah. But then you see it the opposite. You see the guys that are playing. You're like, pardon.
By draft year, I was like 90% of the guys is like, are you kidding me? But whatever.
I know. And when you've actually been playing against them and you're like, I know he can't get the puck from me.
He can't skate. This guy can't skate.
No. Jeepers. Yeah. Anywho.
Well, in our era, Wally, and I mean, if you were 6'6" with a heartbeat, you were getting drafted.
No, I got a lot of things to talk about. We're still on the first page, man.
Okay.
But like, yeah, for your story, I was curious about like what happens after junior because there weren't many big guys in the game.
No, there was actually no
Martin St. Louis was about the only guy, and Theron Fleury was he was an animal out there, right? And that's how he got by. And then there was Martin St. Louis, but other than that, there really weren't many guys.
And at the time, Martin, like when I was like my draft year, I think St. Louis, he was in Calgary, if I remember correctly, and then he got dealt to the Lightning, and then it started taking off.
Then it starts clicking for him. But like if he stays in Calgary, who knows what happens, right? Like. It's crazy how it all.
Not that I didn't put up a lot of points in junior, but I had some pretty good seasons. And I mean, a guy didn't even have a sniff. And I mean, it was
interesting. Yeah. I never had a sniff either, right? Like I never even had one agent, not one. There's like agents everywhere that like ask that are trying. I never even had anyone ask me to be my agent until I was like a junior in college.
And quite frankly, how the journey went, I'm glad I didn't, because those years in Edmonton, the U of A was it was unbelievable. Amazing.
And you guys were a team. When you get to pro, when you go to pro, man, and you got to have those years. Oh,
I mean, in the American League, it was obviously you're right there, right? And you're so close, and you see the guys coming up and down, and you're like, well, I'm right there, right?
You're almost there. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not taking away some of the guys. I'll never talk bad about some of the guys there, but I mean, there were some awesome dudes, like some old school fellas like Joey Teterenko and Murphy. What was his name? I think. Anyway, some old fellas that were just the old guard,
I do know. In the A, like when I got to Syracuse, there was some fantastic veterans, some fantastic fellas. Yeah.
Old school, man. Old school.
Yeah.
And but it was different, man. It wasn't a team. Everyone did their own thing. There's about 19 different groups after the game. And I wasn't as happy, put it that way. I was glad to get out of there.
Me too. I still remember. So I don't think I'll even bother saying whose name it was. He was a goalie on our team in Syracuse, and he thought he should be in the NHL. And I just just hanging on to the AHL and not going down to the coast or whatever. And then I saw this grown man that was should have been a guy I'm looking up to, act like a spoiled punk we go out as a team at the bar, and this guy sat by himself and like sulked because he wasn't in the NHL, and then he wasn't treating people nice and talking to them nice, and I'm like, this is what I'm into, and I'm like, this isn't hockey. I'm like, I don't know anything about your story and why you're here, but like, why would you act that way?
Right. I remember the one, it was, I mean, you're probably in the same.
If you're not going to have fun with us, stay home.
Come on, go away. I remember one guy, I was making league minimum in the American League, and it's a grind. That is a dirty grind.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the year, I'm not going to name names, but I mean, the high end draft picks after their 7th DUI were looking for some money from me. And I was like, this place sucks. Go worry about more worried about snorting lines than anything. Coming to practice. It was messed up, man. I was like, this is the dream. I want to go to Europe. So
and that's exactly what happened to me. And so geez, we're kind of going through this without me looking up my notes here, but we both only played 1 year in North America, and you kind of are speaking the same as me. I hated how it wasn't a team. I felt more like I was part of the team in the coast. I felt like I belonged there. We were rooting for each other to make it up to the AHL. It was a little bit different. The AHL I thought was a toxic environment, but there were some dandies on the team. There's some fantastic people.
Yeah, 100%. I like the old guys. They were so awesome to me, but there was such a disconnect between, I was a rookie, but I was quite a bit older than a lot of the guys on the team, like, the first rounders and all those types of players. But there was such a disconnect between the older veterans and the young guys. And it was just animosity, man, the whole year. It sucked.
Well, and I just think it's something else, right? Because then the college seasons end, the OHL seasons end, and then all of a sudden these new guys come in. You got guys dressing in the shower. It's like it's like, and then from you growing up in small town like Alberta, and like you've been on a team. It's like my kid growing up here. Like, you're a team. They're a team. It's crazy.
Oh, well, and then I had a pretty good decent start. My coach for the U of A was he was the coach in the American League. It's kind of how that worked out. And I was like second or third in team scoring by Christmas. And and then there's a bunch of guys on IR up top, and then they came down for a conditioning stint, and then I was not on a one-way for obvious reasons, and those guys, well, obviously they were going to get and then I just got buried, and they wanted those guys to play, and it is what it is. So
and for me, it was, they said I wasn't a third, fourth liner, which I wasn't, and I didn't know how to play the defensive game at that time. And then the top two lines, and they're in the AHL, your top two lines generally aren't a college free agent on league minimum.
Yes, right. The one cool thing I remember about the American League at that time was like there was the old, like, Mike Keane was playing in Manitoba.
He was mucking it up.
And just like
Stanley Cup champion with like the Canadians, right?
And still just battling on the face-offs, and Mike Ricci
trying harder than anybody. It was like 42,
right? I wish some of our first rounders were working as hard as he did. I mean, that's
right. You see a guy like that out there giving her, and then you're right. You see some of the punks just thinking they're sweet.
The one guy I remember,
and then they roll in at the arena with their Escalade. You're like, you're such a dork,
right? Oh, there were so many douchebag Escalades. Not even funny. You know who was? I remember the one I ran with in American League. I ran with Joel Ward. Was what a lovely man.
What a beauty. Roller hockey enthusiast.
What? Wordle and Sean Bell, like, I think Bellsy played over in Mannheim for a few years too, and just that was the highlight of that year, playing with those guys. I mean, Wardle come from same background.
I've lost track. Where are we playing? Houston right now?
Houston right now, I think. So
okay.
Whatever. I'll let you conduct the interview, man. Sorry.
No. Joel Ward, I played roller hockey against him though, and he was a CIS guy that like made it, right?
PI, beauty, man. Good guy. Great guy. Love Bob Marley and Red Stripe.
Oh, well, that guy was roller hockey enthusiast. That's what I got into right around like bantam age instead of spring hockey. I played roller hockey, And you
Cool.
remember the other hockey guys that were there that like
Yeah.
did well, and he was one of them.
Well, he did good. He had a heck of a career. And that guy worked for it.
But yeah, AHL East Coast. I don't know how we got there because I still haven't even asked you
That's
about
right.
growing up in Coaldale, Alberta.
That's right. Okay. Sorry. Yes. Coaldale is, I don't know.
Is that where you're from?
That's where I was raised, I guess. Pretty small town, a bit of it's an egg area, southern Alberta. So I mean,
did you say an egg area?
Agriculture is
your, okay, yeah,
your main kind of the main.
It's a farming community.
Farming community, and so yeah. Then I played AA, Pee Wee, all over the place, and yeah, it's kind of same generic story as all.
So you got into hockey like everybody did. I have a random question, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're in a farming community around here.
Okay.
Ripley, where my kids go to school.
Yeah.
Tons of mullets. They're back.
I know. I see that.
All the kids have mullets. It's wild.
Well,
in
at least
Ripley, Ontario, there's mullets everywhere.
Well, at least their mullets not changing who they are. So that's good.
Yeah, there's different bathrooms everywhere now.
That's right. They have kitty litters in some schools. That's a different podcast.
Different pod. That's not this one.
That's right.
So you always grew up on a farm then, basically.
Well, I wasn't necessarily in the farming world. I was more we were more rural folks. My dad was an outfitter, taxidermist, so we did a lot of stuff outdoors, and that's kind of my upbringing. Lots of time in the mountains in the backcountry in the summers, and hockey in the winters is kind of what I did growing up.
Yeah, a lot of outdoor rinks around there too then?
Oh, we get the Chinooks. I don't know if you guys know what a Chinook is out east, but it's in this area, south of Calgary, it can literally change 30 degrees in span of 3 days. We get the warm wind off the mountains, and it's a warm wind in the middle of winter, and it kind of roasts your ice. So you can have most guys have dugouts. The outdoor rinks, they don't work down here.
Really?
Yep. That's more like Edmonton, north of Calgary.
Well, folks, fun fact. There you go. Never would have guessed that. Who knew?
Check out a Chinook if you're bored. Go Google.
Google it, folks.
Google it. Yeah.
But so then you do end up playing AAA.
Yeah.
Medicine Hat. How much traveling's that?
Wasn't bad. I left home at 14, so
you had to leave home to do it.
Yeah, we had to leave home, and we had to do the whole parent guardianship in Medicine Hat, and I was fortunate.
Is that right? Eh?
Yeah. So Medicine Hat's not terribly far, so I guess I was considered a local boy. When I played for the Tigers, we do most of our shopping if we do like our Costco runs in Medicine Hat. So we're not far from the Hat now. So it was nice to be close to home and, leaving at such young age, which I mean, I bet you majority of all of us did that. So,
well, right? So that's interesting, right? I never left home until I went to Western Michigan. I played Elmira Junior B. Okay. Learned about winning there. Yeah.
Well, Junior B, because I think your system's quite a bit different than here in Alberta, right? Like Junior B would be like your midget. Back in those days, that was like your midget AAAs, wasn't it? In your
no, like the Junior B was the same as like the tier 2 Junior A. Like we were we got like my team in Elmira within 2 years or 3 years, we had I think 9 to 10 scholarships.
Oh my!
Yeah, we were a team though. We were a squad.
That's good. You learned that from the old boys, eh?
And we ran amok. Yeah. No, and like I learned it from watching the games as a kid. I would go watch my local team. And do you remember Rob Collins played at Dusseldorf?
Absolutely. Yep.
Guy was like, so that was my favorite player growing up. Him and then Brandon Dietrich from Munich and Landshut. So he's the guy that brought me over to Landshut. He was also, him and Collins were my favorite players when I was a kid. They played for the Elmira Sure Kings. They won the Sutherland Cup, and then I did a few years later with the same team. Yeah, it's a small world when you're talking around, right?
Dietrich was a good player. I remember from the Munich. They were good. They were solid.
Great skater. Always had a smile on his face on the ice too, right? He always looked like he was having fun out there. Yeah, maybe it's because he could skate like that. I wasn't. I was breathing heavily.
There you go.
Oh shit. Okay, so then you go to Medicine Hat for AAA, but that is like where you already drafted by them?
I was drafted by the Tigers, and I got exceptional. So I was able to play the most the games as a 15-year-old. The team was awful. I think they were like 10. They won 10 games. So my season was finished, and then I stayed with the big club.
You're pretty young to be doing that then, eh?
146 pounds, man, in the old dub. That was
Just buzzing around, eh?
Oh, you learn to look after yourself. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So I was there and that's where the journey started, So, and loved every second of the hat. That's still a second place home.
So it would be, because you were there for what, like 5 years. That's a big development. What, you're like 15 to 20 there.
Yeah. Well, I don't like talking about myself, but I still have the record for most games played as a Tiger and as a captain as a Tiger. So those are two things guys pretty proud of still.
You should be.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be proud. It's a podcast.
There you go. Right. So that's where, 6 years in the hat.
How long were you the captain?
3 years, 18, 19, 20.
Really?
That's why we're so bad.
Well, okay. Why don't we get into then the small hockey world here?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who we're going to talk about, because there's a lot of fellas to list off here.
Oh my.
I went to the Columbus Blue Jackets training camp. Okay. And I don't know if anybody can notice, but I'm watching people, and I watch how people behave and how they treat other people, and who's a shed guy. Jason Chimera is a shed guy. I've never talked to him. I hardly talked to him. I was at the training camp just doing my own thing, being a young punk, but I watched him, and that guy is a beauty.
What a great man. Shimmer. Beauty.
Yeah. So the guys that were at that training camp that I could tell were shed guys were him, Anson Carter, and those were, like, I could tell the group. I'm like, if I was on that team, those are the guys I'd hang out with there. Yeah,
absolutely. Shimmer was the old dog when I was a 15-year-old. And at the time, you're looking at 19, like he's this old established vet. And I was this 15-year-old, 146-pound punk. And he just took me under his wing, and he was like a big brother. And
I can see him being like that. He seemed like a very nice person.
And then we seen each other quite a bit when he was with the Oilers, and then we were at the U of A, and we'd always train together in the summers, some of those pro guys and stuff. So, and he would, it didn't matter how much money he was making, he would still take the time to come check out a university student. So it was pretty cool.
No, that is cool. I had the same kind of, like, I was the skinny.
Awesome.
I was like 165 pounds at the Columbus Blue Jackets training camp, and then there's like a box of t-shirts, and like every t-shirt is way too big for me, and I'm like, well, I don't fit in around here. They fit Jason Chimera, they don't fit me.
Right. Well, he's 6'9" or whatever he is.
Yeah, God. Okay. So yeah, he was a beauty. Then a guy that came up in Kincher's episode, Sean Sutter, because he was part of the Sutter families that was from Kincher's hometown.
That's right. The Viking. I know Sean. Where was he? Calgary. Anyways, I played with Sean in Medicine Hat.
Yeah. So I think he was from Red Deer or whatever.
Red Deer. He's the Red Deer. Well, I mean, I think he was on the farm when we grew up there outside of Viking, which is close to Red Deer.
Oh, okay.
And that's where that, and I don't know which one his dad is.
Well, what's I don't know how all of it works, but what's weird for me is that guy comes up in Kincher's episode, and then a fan of the Sheffield Steelers writes to me. He goes, that guy that came up, he was a Sheffield Steeler. And I was like, oh, who knew? Yeah. And then where my honey hole, the Cardiff Devils, Brad Voth is a legend.
The Vother.
Yeah.
He was tough, man. The sloth man.
They loved him in Cardiff.
He took care of me, put it that way. There was a lot of bad dudes out there, and he made sure the little guy.
Back in when we were coming up, major, junior, the OHL, man, it was tough. And I was little skill guy like you, and NCAA just seemed like the path. So why didn't you ever think of that?
I was a dub guy, man. I grew up. I loved the Hurricanes, and I loved. I just love
Hurricanes.
Lethbridge Hurricanes. They're the junior team in Lethbridge, and when I was 14, they went to the Mem Cup. They lost to Laval that year in the Mem, and I remember watching them in the playoffs, and I loved the game, and at that point I remember going to those games, and it was packed out, and the fans, and it was just like. It was like, this is what I want to do. I like that. And
and that happens, right? Yep. This is just a curious question.
Yep.
Have you ever been to an NCAA game?
We played against many guys when I was the U of A. We played against the Gophers, Mankato, Colorado, Denver, a pile of NCAA, pile of respect for the programs down there. I mean, you can go on which better, right?
I was just curious. Like, yeah, everybody has different paths. I was just curious because for me, people were like when I'm coming up as a young buck and my parents don't know much about hockey, people were kind of saying like he's kind of seems more
Smaller.
like an NCAA guy because he's little, you know.
I never even knew that was even a possibility, to be honest with you. I just was growing up with like some of the hockey camps, and you get the old dub guys, the Western League players, and you think they're the guys, you know, and you're like, I want to do that. So
I do know what you mean though. I grew up watching the Guelph Storm and Kitchener Rangers that were both awesome teams when I was a kid. Like the Storm had Bertuzzi, Jeff O'Neill, like they were a squad. Yeah.
I remember, well, that was a good World Junior team that year. I remember in Red Deer. I think Jeff O'Neill was there. Who it was? Jamie Store?
Isn't it interesting the World Junior teams that you remember?
Oh, yeah. I was a World Junior nerd, man.
And how about Kincher played in the World Juniors?
Man, I honestly was when I found out that we were going to sign him and I could in Ravi, I couldn't believe it. I was like, we're getting Matt Kinch? Like, wow, we're
really doing it here.
We made it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We played World Juniors not once, but twice.
Yeah. That's wild.
I know, man. What a guy.
Not just once, but twice. That's really
that's how many guys do that, you know, and he should have been playing NHL, that guy. He could just see and think the game.
And a leader, yeah. Okay. Anyways, we got sidetracked. We're talking about guys we played with or you played with in Medicine Hat that I know. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
One of my centermen in Bietigheim, Chris St. Jacques, shed guy. Jocko.
Jocko. What? Man, wow. We had I wish we would have played together. I don't know why they didn't
you and Jocko didn't play together?
They didn't play us together ever in Medicine Hat. He actually they linked him up with Ryan Holloweg, who was, man, that guy was an absolute killer.
Right.
And Joffrey Lupel. I mean, Loops was, man, he was a Ferrari
player. Yeah, he's a player.
I mean, those guys, we had a heck of a team, man. That was Jock, what a good guy. Good guy.
So can I think it's funny. I think I could bring this up because like I always explain I had some conditioning issues and I didn't have the best physique. When he came to us from the Edinburgh Capitals, mid-season, he was running amok of the IHL. I hear there wasn't a lot of back checking, but then he showed up with Bietigheim, and man, he could go fast for about 20 seconds, and then he would get so tired. Like, I mean, once he was tired, he couldn't move at all. He couldn't even get he would go from going so fast. There was no middle ground. There was just full go or nothing.
He is quite the Jocko. What a guy. Oh man. Nose for the net. He had a nose to score some points.
Oh, he was he was in Bietigheim for a long time.
He's a gamer, man. That guy's
he is.
He's a gamer.
Good, and a great guy. Yeah, but
wonderful man. Great guy.
Hilarious. His how tired he could get. So you said Lupel, another guy that was on that squad though that played World Juniors is like a 16-year-old Bowmeister.
Oh, what a guy, Bowie. What a man. Awesome. His dad actually the reason why I went up to the U of A, to be honest with you. Just a great family.
What does his old man have to do with that?
Well, he played for the Bears a long time ago, and then he was kind of assistant coach when I was there, Dan Bowmeister, Jay's dad. And so he obviously watched the Tigers with Jay, and I was really good friends with Jay. And he's like, Benny, like this pro thing is, you don't get it. Like, you got to come to U of A. We'll get you up there. So that's how that came around.
So Bowmeister's old man's the assistant coach of
he was.
Squad,
I don't know.
I
don't think he is anymore, but at that time he was, and so that's how I came to be up there.
It's interesting when you talk around how
Yeah.
Next guy, your goalie, Kevin Nastiuk.
Oh, the nasty.
Nasty.
The
Kerbis
nasty.
Kopf.
Yeah, Kermis Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. Got a huge head.
Great flow. He always had
Yeah.
a good set of flow.
Great flow, huge
Yeah.
head. Kerbis Kopf.
Whoa, what a goalie, man. What a goalie. He was just slick, man. He was slick.
He
Just
was
slick.
our goalie in Hellbron.
Yeah,
So that's
okay.
the year after you're done.
Yeah.
That he fought some injuries that year. We had like lots of goalies that year. We had him, Jonathan Bernier, Alex Westland. We had
Why?
lots of imports that year, but Nasty was the guy signed to be the starter, and then I think it was groin issues.
Wally, hold on. I gotta get a charger, man. Give me a second.
Oh, no worries. And we're
Perfect.
back. He's got his charger, folks. And we did not notice though before what we'll remember what we're talking about. But when you moved, there's a bear behind you. A bear. Did you?
I got lots of
Whoa, that's a black bear.
black bear. Yeah.
So
And then there's this one here too.
Are what? Holy moly!
That's
look
a
how
brown
big
bear from
that
Alaska.
is. Did you go up
That's
to
a 10 and a
Alaska
half
to get
foot.
that?
I did. I really, really did. So
You went
hold
to
on, my
a-
charger
you went
fell
not-
out.
Holy shit, man. You said you were ready. You're not ready. Look at that cute little one in the background. Jeepers. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, that's
So you went all the way
Forget-
up to Alaska to get that guy.
I did. Yeah. I went up to Alaska and we had a heck of a go up there. That's quite the deal. I've been pretty blessed to be on many, many trips.
So who's your crew? Who do you go with?
Usually my dad or my father-in-law. We kind of run amok. We
Yeah, you give her.
we give her. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got a few buddies that I've made over the years. So it's a wrecking crew.
Well, hey, that's cool. Whatever you're into. Man, they look so cute, but I guess they're probably pretty mean when they get near you.
The black bear on my side, this guy here, we got him with dogs, and that was pretty cool. I was about 15 feet away from him. That was, you're alive. Put it that way. Your go time.
You were 15 feet away from him.
Yeah. We hunted him with dogs, and you're getting
So
real cool.
you mean the dogs just find him for you?
Oh, you got to find a track. Like you find a scent track where, you try to hike around and find a spot with some snow with a bear put or a bear.
So then you see the footprint and then
Yeah.
you follow that and the dogs follow the print. I've
That's
seen my
right.
dog do it when I walk him around here.
Yeah,
He
and
smells a print and then he starts going. That's
That's right. And then this guy will actually we put on close to 20 miles on foot and to try and track this rascal down, and he got in there and it got pretty hairy a little bit. So it was a beauty. It was fun.
20 miles.
Yeah, you just keep on going, and then the dogs push the bear, and then the bear keeps going, and you got to keep up with the dogs, and it's go time. That's where the adrenaline and like the whole
Well,
thing.
once they got the scent and they're on it, then you're like, holy shit, this is happening.
Well, that's the thing, and then you
So
got.
are you saying you go out and you're looking for these tracks you could look all day and not find anything?
Absolutely. Like this sheep here right behind me. What is it? This guy right behind me took me 60 days overall. 60 days to be able to get on him. So it's not
that is competitive. That's competitive juices.
Oh, here you want it, man. You want it. So it's not like everyone thinks you go out there and you just shoot something and it's all done. But I mean, the preparation with horses, and you obviously got to be in pretty good shape. And to live out there and battle the elements, it's a testament.
So you're saying that took 60 days. That means you're out there for 60 days.
It took over 5 years. So I'd always go 10. I'm lucky enough have Beck let me leave for 10 days and go out in the bush and pretend I'm a mountain man. And so it took me over 6 years to get him. So, and I finally got that guy on the last day of my hunt. So
what do you mean by 6 years?
Like every year I went. So like I go the 1 year
and you never got anything. And then your 6th year, you got something. So you didn't give up.
Didn't give up. Character, man.
No, that's cool. Like, yeah. You would think after 5 years, you're like, well, shit, what are we doing here?
Exist, right?
Okay. Back to the medicine.
We're on Jocko. Well, no, we're on Nasty. We're on Nasty. That's right.
Yeah. Well, Nasty, Kerbis Kopf.
Where was Cop?
Yeah, he's a beauty. Got to get him in the shed. Haven't
Yeah.
had him yet, but I've almost had almost all the goalies I played with on. I think I have a lot of good relationships with my goalies, which I think is important, you know?
Absolutely.
Um,
I got actually a great story about my. I don't. We wanted some stories, or what do you want?
I think that's what we want. I mean, we can get sidetracked all we want. I got nowhere to be.
It does involve the two previous fellas that we just mentioned, and the numerous guys. I'm sure you played over in Germany. This would have been my last year in Medicine Hat. I'm going to say this story because this is kind of like in the world of the Medicine Hat Tigers. It's a very hidden secret story, and so I might as well let the cat out of the bag here.
Yeah,
so
they'll never hear about it.
Right. So, and I would have. There's also it's muddy of who started this whole thing. So, anyways, we were so bad for so long, and then we thankfully they hired Willie Desjardins. And I mean, I know Brian Kilray gets a lot of the media in Ontario about success in junior programs, but I mean, out west here, there's no one better than Willie Desjardins. And so my last year junior, thankfully we got him. And so we ended up making playoffs finally. And we started, and what funny thing about Medicine Hat is it's a smaller center in the middle of nowhere in the southeast corner of Alberta. And it kind of it's a farming ranching community. So they like their teams built a certain way.
Yeah.
And so we were bad for so long. And a lot of the success of the city, I mean, their vibe would rely on us Tigers. So we made the playoffs. So the whole city was just losing it. They were so excited. We hadn't made playoffs in 7 years. So we made playoffs. We swept the first round against Swift Current. And this is where the story gets going. So we think we won the cup. So we go and celebrate, have a good time after the series because we swept, right? So the next, it's still a week away before the second round hits. So we're having a good time. And we had some boys. It was still the old school way of thinking, you know, of junior, how it was, as you can imagine. And at that time I was the captain. So we had a post game celebration at the local watering establishment. And one thing led to another. And this is where I know there's lots of confusion and lots of stuff people don't, but as you know, Wally, captains know best, right? Captains know best. So I was like, boys, let's bring this back to the arena. So that's where we brought the party back to the arena. And
just the team.
I can't remember, but it was a hoot nanny. It was a whole, actually I sent you the picture. I found that in the tickle trunk. That's that night on the bench.
You're right. I was going to ask about that question. Who are all the fellas on the bench?
I'd have to look on it. I think Jocko's in there, Nastiak's on there, and Lupul's in there. It was a whole. So anyways, this is where the story gets really, really good. So that we're having fun, having a good time. And so anyways, our defenseman, Mark Vauden, who actually we seen him in
what time of night is this that you're coming back from the bar to go into the arena?
3:30 at least. And the stick guy who was Ken Stickle was his name. And he's one of those stick guys that helps out so we're like, Kenny, we're letting him. He's like, no, can go in here. And we're like, we're going in. So anyways, the Zamboni, we're having a hoot. We find the lights, we're flicking lights on the arena. All of a sudden you hear the engine on the Zamboni fire up. Wow. The boys take her for a bit of a joyride loop-de-loop around the center ice circle. And so
at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah. So captain finally has enough sense, like, boys, we got to pack the Zamboni away. And
we should put that away.
We got practice in like 10 hours, you know? So anyways, we all go home and it's all good. There's shenanigans everywhere. And all of a sudden it's like 6:30 in the morning and my billet knocks on my door. And you're like, oh, what's going on? And she goes, it's Willie, the coach. He's not phoning at 6:30 for a little chat.
No.
Benny, get down here now. And this is where the story gets really, really, this is where it's the best. So I get down there and he's like, you got to get all the boys. You get down here. And so we get the whole crew down, like, fellas.
Like just the guys that went out?
No, the whole team. The whole team. The whole team, even the 16-year-olds and all the guys that didn't go. Pretty much, you know what? We all went. Everyone went, basically. So we're all in the dressing room and we're doing putting the hands in the lap, and the main rink guy for Medicine Hat, he's doing this one. And Willie's like, what am I doing? Like, he's like, Benny, I can't sit it was all you veterans. I can't sit all you. Like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, my hands are tied. I'm upset at you doing this. Like, I don't know what to do. And the night before, the fans left a big mess in the parking lot with just beer cans and bottles and couches and barbecue. It was a mess, a disaster. The fans partied harder than we did. So and I was like, let's go. We'll go clean the parking lot up. That's what we'll do. We will clean up. We won't let the janitors. We'll clean the arena up. It's our bad. So sure enough, he's like, all right, I like that. So we go outside. We start cleaning up the arena, like putting in garbage bags, back of trucks, doing the bit. Well, guess who shows up? The Medicine Hat News. So the Medicine Hat News shows up.
And then they think you guys are great guys.
Yeah, they start snapping photos. And so we start hamming it up and we're like, we make the cover, Wally. We make the cover.
The Medicine Hat Tigers the next day are up cleaning up garbage.
And it was front page news that says Tigers clean up after fans. And even the first game of the second round, the rink guys, they took so hard because there's so many divots in the Zamboni doing donuts. You'd still get a hot pass that kicked a little bit off the ruts.
Oh, that's having fun though. That's playoff hockey.
That's playoff hockey. There's a shed guy, Willie Desjardins. You got to get him on here too. He's a good guy.
Is he? So I got a question then for you, because I think coaching is very important. I think the coaching you have and what they could teach you, I think it's very important. What was the difference when he came in?
You know what? I honestly think about it pretty much every second day, what he did. I mean, I was so fortunate. I only had him for a year. And to this day, we still have we're still in contact, and that's how influential he was for me, not only as a player, but as a man.
Yeah.
I remember we were so bad. We were a bunch of losers, eh? And him and Doug Lidster, I don't know if you remember that name from
Vancouver. Do, number 3 Vancouver Canucks.
Dang right. What a guy. And so they were our coaches my last year in junior. And so we always had a team meeting. We had a team meeting beginning of the year. And we walk in there, and he was pretty like, Willie, you had to work. Like you made
the giver.
You made kids have character, you know, you had to have sandpaper. And sure enough, we walk into the room and there's a big picture of the Memorial Cup. And we're like, we suck. Like, what's our deal? And he's like, that's what needs to change. You need to be a winner every day at practice. Doesn't matter. You change your mindset, you become a winner. And that's what he is. It's the greatest thing ever. He was great, man. He single-handedly changed that organization's culture.
But it's true though. Like, you can either do shit right and do it hard and get her done, or you can.
Yeah. I mean, from when he took over in 2003 to, I mean, he had, it's a slew of guys that he put in either professionally or in the NHL. It's incredible what he has done. What a man. What a coach. Just passion. You talk about passion, you talk about pride, dedication. Yeah. I mean, those are just fantastic qualities.
Sounds like a great fella that I'd love to chat with. Yeah. That's the type of guy I'd like to learn from. And I find like I've learned a lot just talking to people in my shed about everything, about hockey, about life, about countries, about food. It's been interesting.
That's the cool thing about the game, right? All the characters that.
But it's also like what hockey taught. I like see it now. It's like a lot of shit I learn in life is from my buddies. Like, they tell me about shit and what goes on, and and like that's like what hockey is. We all teach each other about shit and like what's right and wrong. You see a guy do something, you're like, don't do that.
Right?
Don't do that.
If you can take, a couple of the best qualities from every good person that you see, and then you try to like,
and then then you're on to something, right? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. And I know, and we talk about my Bietigheim days. I lost my way there. I lost my way the last year. I showed up. I think the kids are calling it yoked nowadays. I really dedicated myself. I was totally jacked. I was ready to go. And I was like, I'm so sick of fucking losing in this town. This is horse shit. I love this place. I want to win. And I showed up ready to rock. I think after 20 games, I had 20 goals and we were in last place. And I was so sick of it. I was so fed up that I was done. And and then the new coach comes in. And it's like, I got to prove myself again. I got 20 goals, 20 games. And then this guy doesn't like me. And I'm like, I'm done, you know?
Yeah. The game can be frustrating.
But then you learn from that shit, right? And then like you go to different places and you're like, okay, I got to find myself.
That's right. Yeah. You retool, restructure.
God, we've lost control in the shed.
I think we're in the hat still. We're in the hat. I think that's where we're at in the conversation.
Yeah, we're not done yet with teammates here. Okay. Yeah. So you had Hallwig, who is a giver. Fiddler's another giver. He gives her.
Yeah, Fids was a beauty.
We're gonna keep going. Clark MacArthur came to the second league in Germany for a while.
He was my line mate. Old Clarky, what a guy. From Lloydminster.
So
from the border town.
Who did he came over to the Zweite Bundesliga? Didn't he play for, was it Krimichow?
Pretty sure. I don't know why.
Krimichow. Why Krimichow?
I was gone at the time. I would have made fun of him pretty hard why he went there. So because they don't have any money. I don't know what they were doing.
And it's like, what a barn, right? What a barn.
Yeah.
What's your most memorable barn from the second league of Germany?
I would say Krimichow, just because I mean, you're going through Hansel and Gretel's forest to get down there, and it always seemed like it was minus 30 outdoors. And aside from smokes and pine needles and sauerbraten and
Glühwein.
And I think even my first 2 years, they had the page wire around the. I don't even think there was glass, man. It was the East. It was the East.
And I just remember the game where the water balls froze and like we couldn't drink water. They were frozen. Your sticks couldn't even flex. It didn't matter what flex your stick was because it was frozen. It was
brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal. That was the game we won with 8 guys in Krimichow. That was 8 guys professional with a grade 8 goalie.
Yeah, you guys told me about that, the group chat, eh?
Krimichow. What?
Okay. One more guy. So Clark MacArthur was a player. We didn't really talk about him, but he was a player.
Yeah.
Okay. Stefan Meyer, shed guy. What a beauty. Yeah, that guy's one of like, so I meet a lot of people in the shed and there's some that stand out to me. We mucked it up against each other for years. He was one of those Schwinnigan punks, right?
Yeah. I was so mad when he signed there. I was like, come on.
That's horse manure, right?
Yeah, not good. I didn't know it wasn't approved. But everyone has got to make their own journey. So he's got to.
And then he went to Brayhead and I mucked around against him there too. But that guy is a fantastic person.
From Fox Valley, man. Actually, was this hunting deer out there the other day. So it was kind of cool to see the old stomping
So he's
ground.
not far from you then, or what? Or
a little bit.
I guess you travel to do this shit.
Oh yeah, I travel for this stuff. But he's about Fox Valley's like an hour and a bit. I'm west of Medicine Hat, where he's about the same distance, just north and east. He's about an hour and a bit north and east of Medicine Hat. And I actually think I used to run a hockey academy for Willie out of a very small town. And I think Stefan
is helping him out, right?
Helping him out. Yeah. So I don't do that anymore, but I know Steph's still doing it there. So.
And I think he's a pretty busy boy with his real work too.
Yeah. I think he's, I know they crop quite a bit of acres. I think his family, and I know his wife's father's business. And I think they're in the oil field at some capacity. So I know.
Busy fella.
Yep.
But what a dandy.
Oh,
absolute dandy. I should get him back in the shed.
He's one of those guys that you can go. One thing I always base on a guy, if you can go dig a ditch together and you can still go have a good time, have a couple beers at the end of the day. Those are the kind of guys that you want.
That makes a lot of sense to me. If you can make work fun, right, in any capacity, whatever job you're doing, if you can make it fun with people, those are the people you want around.
Yeah, absolutely. Steph was a young guy when I was in the Tigers. He was my line mate as a 16-year-old, and then he was as a 17-year-old. So he was a little bit young. It was him and Clarkie MacArthur were my two line mates.
But so then that just be thinking in my shed again. He becomes like a leader on a bunch of teams and like over there, and like he learned from you were his captain. Just shed guys learning from shed guys, folks.
There you go, man. It's a lineage.
It's a powerful thing.
It is.
Okay, so then I don't know. You got anything else to talk about Medicine Hat? I just listed a bunch of names.
No, that was a pretty good. It was a good time there. I'm glad I got to have a little bit of a chance to win a little bit with the boys there.
It was nice that you get Willie at the end, because I see the rookie year is -42. So when you're -42, the team's not having a lot of success, but come the last year, you're in the playoffs. You list off all these players you got. I don't. How does that work though? Does Willie do all the recruiting too? How does he find all these guys? You list off all these players and shed guys.
We were so bad, Wally, that we'd always get the high-end draft pick.
Bouwmeester, Lupo.
Bouwmeester and Steph was a high pick. Holloway was a high pick, like all these good guys. And then you get a lot of the signee, like Clarkie was a signee, Loops was a signee. It just worked out.
What's a signee?
Well, just someone who doesn't get drafted as a junior, like as a 14, 15-year-old. They just like a walk on, he's playing midget AAA or Bantam AAA, and then the scouts sign him just for a deal sort of thing. That's okay. Those guys are.
Well, it looks like you had some great dudes around. Then it must have been fun to start winning near the end, right? Then
it was so good. I mean, the whole town shut down and just watched us. And I think at that point they never sold out for another 20 years, or like they always sold out for 20 years after that last season.
Wow. That's because of the fellows picking up the garbage in the parking lot, right? Like just grade A people.
Absolutely. Good folks. Right?
Better than running the stairs in the arena. I've done that before.
Oh yeah. Well, we had to do that too. Dougie Lidster was an animal. So I remember at first training camp, he all whooped every single young bucks on the beep test as a 40-year-old. So
I'm not going to be doing that.
I still remember walking in the dressing room. There's Dougie crushing 25 dumbbells on a old Monarch bike, watching Price is Right.
Okay. So you finished there.
Yeah.
Basically, I got written down here. I don't know where I got it written down. I know I do. There it is. After your rookie year, when you guys are terrible, you pretty much have over a point a game for 4 years straight.
Yeah.
So what are the pro options when you're leaving there? You got Bouwmeester's old man saying University of Alberta. Is there anything pro happening? Do you have an agent?
At that time, I was just really, I was hungry, but really sad because I had the games played. Willie did a cool thing to get the games played record for me. All the boys were helping. I had 4 busted ribs the last 3 games of the year. And he basically said, can you stand in front of the net of the power play and just take power play? Just me and Jock would run the half wall and the side wall. And I said, yeah, I can do that. So they put me in, and I was only playing a couple minutes. So that was kind of a cool thing. So it's just kind of,
but and that's the shit you remember when you grow up, or like, it's like, not to bring up shit that has nothing to do with my life, but like when you see Spezza with the Leaf and how they treated him when he first got there with all that, it's like, if you're a coach, you got to show your players you care about them, right?
Well, they're people.
Yeah, right? For people, you got to care about them.
Like, why not? So
so that he does that for you, that he's a shed guy. I like him.
I mean, so that's where it kind of.
But then that to play with 4 broken ribs.
Yeah, it's.
I've seen guys with broken ribs. I knock on wood. I haven't done it yet, but I've seen people do it, and man, they aren't having fun at all.
Well, it only hurts when you're breathing. Put it that way.
And you don't want to breathe too hard, so I'd have a hard time playing hockey.
Right? It was challenging. So it was. We were pretty. By the time we got to the second round, we were pretty banged up that season. So it was.
So you had that going into the playoffs.
Yeah. So it was a
So
grind.
you have
It
the
was-
all-time played games,
Yep, for the Tigers. Yep. 352, I think it is.
and it's kind of hard to beat it because you even played as like an underage, right?
Yeah, you'd have to play, I think, as a 15-year-old and then pretty much 70 games or plus the rest of the year, which
Do they count playoff games?
no, just regular season.
So you pretty
So-
well got that one locked down, eh?
Well, it's going to take a lot of good bounces.
And
with
you were the
Tigers.
captain for the most games.
3 years in a row, baby.
So there is a chance we could get your jersey retired in another town.
There's too many high profile guys in that. No one remembers me out there anyways. So
Okay, so here's the next question then. Just
Yeah.
how my brain works.
Yeah.
If Leon Draisaitl's wearing 29 because of you,
Yeah.
why did you wear 29?
Because that was the only jersey available to me at the U of A. So that's why I took it. And I honestly love it.
And then you ran amok though. Once
Yeah.
you run amok in a number, it's
Oh,
your
man.
number.
Yes, that was it just felt good that jersey because I always wore 16 and I don't know, 29 just it's like it's different and it just felt right. This feels good. This feels right.
And you're right. You know what's
Yep.
weird for a guy
Hmm.
is when you wore number 10 for Brandon Dietrich, and then you show up in
Yeah.
Germany and he's wearing number 39, and then you wear number 10 and
Weird.
he's on your team, and you're like, well, this doesn't make sense. But then you go to Bietigheim and there's a guy with number 10, so you're like, I'll take 18. And then you run amok, and then it feels like it's your number.
Right. So that's why I don't know. It just felt good. It felt 29 felt good. So nothing
Well,
more.
so nothing else. That's it. Just
That's it.
felt good.
I was a rookie. I was a rookie and I just wanted to.
That's
I
a
remember-
goal. That was a goalie's number when we were kids.
That's basically I was coming in. I had a pretty good season as a 20-year-old. So I mean that dressing room, like you're a bear, man. Like it doesn't matter what you do or as an individual, you toe the line and you become part of the culture and the program. And I just wanted to come in. I know I had some pretty good numbers going in there, and I just wanted to prove myself. Wanted to get the respect of the boys, and I didn't care what number was on my back. I wanted to play for that jersey in the front. That I know it's a cliche, but that's all I wanted.
Well, it's very true. And like,
Yeah.
there's guys that get that and guys that don't, right?
Yeah.
So then you go to the U of A. So what do you take in school? Agriculture?
Hockey.
Did you take hockey?
Three
Oh.
times I did. Three
Did
times
you?
I did.
That's a
Yeah,
good program.
I had a rock wall climbing. No, I was in the Kines program. I've always been interested in how the body works. So I knew I wanted just to go play hockey. That's all it was.
That's what a lot of hockey guys do.
Yeah. So I got into the kinesiology program when I guess the grand design was to be, I don't know, in fitness in some capacity, which never worked out. But I was there for hockey, strictly hockey. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I never overdid my schedule, put it that way. And I still struggled.
But you guys were awesome. Like, so I during the regular season, I see like the close games at the end of the year against the other good
Yeah.
teams. What's the
Yeah.
regular season like? Are you just crushing everybody?
Well, actually, all honesty, I think I texted, we should have won 3 years in a row. And the first year that I was on, that team was, I think, I'd have to look on it, but I think there was 14 or 13 captains from the Western League on that university team.
Really?
And yeah, it was basically like an American League team, and we didn't lose a game all year. I remember talking to my dad. He's like, "What do you guys think?" I'm like, "Dad, we're not going to lose. Like, this team's stacked." And
That's when you lose.
well, that's the thing, Wally. We didn't go through adversity all single year, man. And this is the
Mhm.
lead up to this story. This might also be a really good story. So this is nationals. We didn't lose a game. I think we were 60-0 at this point. And then we go to nationals at University of New Brunswick. And the year before at UNB, one of their players got cancer. And he recovered and he was cleared of it. And it was a great story. So he was dropping inaugural puck for nationals. And this is on TSN and the whole bit. And sold out barn. And it's the first game. And we're the bad guys because we're the Golden Bears. And so we're lining up on the blue lines, taking the face off, and it was the captains come take the face off for the pictures. You know, they got the pictures for the smiles. And
Yeah.
this guy,
Oh yeah.
he's got no hair from chemo, and it's a pretty emotional moment, like he's got his family out there, and really cool experience. Well, I'm standing beside the blue line with actually he's coaching now, Chris Knobloch, heck of a guy, great player. Anyways, he's like, oh boy, here we go. And I was like, what's going on? Because I'm just still a rookie, right? And my first nationals. And he's like, our captain, Blair St. Martin, which he's like the head urologist in all of Canada now. What a beauty. Anyways, he takes the face off, but he's crazy. And so he's there to send a message, like send a message.
At the opening face-off
opening face-off with the no helmets and the fans.
No, he's that competitive.
He's that. Anyways, the guy with the no hair drops the puck. Well, Marty fires the biscuit.
Wins it
to our end.
Wins it clean.
Clean. Well, there's, as you can imagine.
Oh yeah. Then it turns into that.
It turned into that, and long story short, we lost that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done.
That is how you lose.
Done. Season was done. So
yeah.
Oh well. That was a good one. And then the next 2 years were absolutely incredible. So
well, so then the next year is when you do the spinneroonie and then slog shoes top cheese.
Oh, I mean, the guys on that team, man, like I know that goal gets a lot of the limelight, but I mean, it was the group of guys, man. We had such a good group of guys. I mean, you talk about a team, you'd love them, man. Every single one of them guys were shed fellas.
That sounds fun. And and that's what's interesting to me, right? It's like, if I had more time in the day, I could do this Monday to Friday. I could do one every day, and it's like, I would have to have the time to do that. But like, you could get together that team. And like, for me, it makes my heart want to explode, bringing back together guys that haven't seen each other in so long. Cause I've done it with the Sugar Kings. I've done it with the Broncos. I've done it with the Steelers. I've done it with all the Devils. It's so much fun that I appreciate
what you do, man. I really do. Cause it's brought back a lot of good memories that I haven't been thinking about. And you go back to memory lane, and man, I really appreciate what you've done.
There's parts of your brain that just kind of like, they just don't fire for a while until you think about it or talk about it. And then all of a sudden they're firing again. Yeah,
absolutely. Those years were so cool, man. I remember, like, cause you're grinding finals and studying, and you're still going out, for Wing Wednesdays, and you're on the road and you're studying, and it's just a dirty grind, man. It gives you character. It really does.
Your school would have been covered through the WHL.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so it's like having a scholarship, but you already did the work.
Well, and depending on
not
to get into too many things, but depending on the program, you can make some money too, as well, depending on how good you are.
Right. Seeing how well you play. And if
each team has their own scholarship fund as well. And the Bears had the alumni was incredible. It still is to this day. I'm looking forward to getting involved more, maybe as I get a little older, and financially supporting some of the young guys, like how those old guys supported me. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a family.
No, that's cool. Never had anything like that. That's cool.
There's actually, as of now, Derek Ryan, the fourth. I think he's centering the Oilers. He's a former Bear.
Is he really?
Yeah.
And you root for those guys, don't you?
Absolutely, man.
I root for all the Western Michigan Broncos out there.
Why not? You're a family, man. It's a legacy, right? It's a culture. You want to build that culture for the next.
You don't really realize it though while you're doing it, right? It's like you're part of history with every team. Like, you only got those guys. When you look back on those seasons, those were the guys that were there.
Absolutely, man. That's cool. That's good. It's so similar, right?
Isn't it interesting? It's like I make sense, even though we're in the shed, and I shouldn't make sense. Oh God! But playing on TSN with your buddies, your university buddies, and then winning it all, I can't imagine, because when we were at Western Michigan, we were brutal. Like, I was doing well myself individually, which was cool, I guess. But like, I just wanted to win the games. I wanted to win with my buddies, and like. Then they'd all be pissed off with what was going on with the coach and what was going on with this. And like, there's so much negativity and so much individual drama, and like then I'm doing good, and it's like, well, this sucks. I want to be good with everybody.
Everyone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the one thing about the Bears. I mean, this could be a whole podcast on that culture in that dressing room. And you walk in the doors, and Claire Drake is a legend in that area. And above the door, it says, I still use it to this day. I mean, I got a team of guys that work for me on the farm here, and it's the same thing. It's amazing what you can accomplish when no one cares who gets credit. You know,
isn't that the truth?
I mean, it's so simple, but it's so hard for people to grasp that concept. And
so many people want the
limelight, and
the limelight. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, because you will eventually get it if you just the sum of the parts, you know.
But like, and then the other thing is jealousy is like jealousy is the worst thing. Like when it comes to hockey and whatnot, like
that's cancer, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah. When you're not, when it's, and like, so here's another story, not to bring up my young fellas from last year again, but I coached that team last year. Mm-hmm. They were a special team. They were like the Beatingheim Steelers. They were like all these special teams have been on the Cardiff Devils. Like they loved each other. These kids love each other. And like, when I see them see each other in the arenas and they like come up and hugs and high fives, and like we got 2 age groups together here, so we're all split up and in different places, and like when they see each other and I see the bond they have, and then when they come over and give me the fist bump, it's just like, it's like, this is hockey, this is what it's about. That's, you know, like and I saw my son and 2 of his other buddies, when they found out their teammates from last year had a game, they're like, yeah, we're going to watch. And they went there and cheered on their friends, where there's some cultures where whoever's telling the kid or the parent or whatever it is, they want to look good. They want to be the person. They want to be the guy everybody's cheering for. It's like, you do it together. You're missing it. You're missing it.
You're missing
it.
Well, there's hope. You're getting involved, man. There's hope. So it's all
well,
good.
You never know. I got to be, allowed to be involved. I hope I am. I do. The more we talk about it, I think I could get right into it. It might mess up shed time a little bit. I might not be able to do it as often. I'm sure I'll find some time, but
short-term games, long-term gain, man.
But it's like, I think I really hope I get to do this. I think I'd run amok. I'm not very good at sucking. I hate it.
Sucking sucks.
Sucking sucks. And there's some players around here, and I've met I've just from my kid playing. You go to the other town and you watch a kid play, and you're like, yeah, that's a player.
I want him on my team.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I want my team.
And I have no problem who gets all the credit. I hope it'll be the kids, because they're the ones out there doing it, and I just want to watch them go do it. That's all.
You're the GPS man. You're keeping that team.
I just want to. I want, like, you talk about hockey and teams and the way it is. That's what I want people to think of hockey, and it is that way in this town. It is that way in Kincardine.
That's awesome. Good. We're slowly losing it in all the big centers here, unfortunately. And
I hear about all these academies and all this stuff, and then there's people telling me that nobody that just comes up through minor hockey could ever make it, and I'm like, how is that possible? If you throw the ball to those 10 kids, there's the one kid that can make those plays. It didn't matter when I talk to these people in the shed, there's guys getting cut in Bantam at AAA. Why all of a sudden do you guys think you actually have to be that good at 12 years old?
It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. I mean, just, you got the passion, you got the drive, and you got the will.
It'll figure itself out, right?
Figure itself out, man.
But it's up to the individual.
That's the problem, where I think it's getting lost with the parents and the kids nowadays. So
yes, I think it's I agree.
Our generation has dropped the ball, Wally, unfortunately. It's up to us to groom the kids good.
Better move on. We already talked about the season anyways a bit, but yeah, so like we talked about, you leave the U of A, you just have the time of your life, right?
It was different down there in Houston. I mean, you're living the dream, man. You're getting paid to play a game that you love, like.
But
And
you're
that's
kind of
where-
getting paid before, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
There was still, I wasn't going to donate blood for sandwiches, put it that way, down in Houston. So, that's where I met, I got introduced. I knew Levy from up in Edmonton. That's where I first met Levs, down in Houston in training camp, and we had a good time. And we always played well together. We always read each other's games.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Well, I would have never guessed.
Yeah, and so he ended up in San Antonio at the end of the year, and I was in Houston, and I was so happy.
Did you get to go to an NHL training camp?
I did. I went to Minnesota, and it was kind of really cool because you talk about Dietrich and those guys as you're looking up when you're younger. Well, in my area, it was Stacy Roost was a I don't know if you know that
number 32, big power forward, right-handed shot.
He was Do
you think I have issues? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah. me too, man. So he was
I don't know where I've seen him play before. I don't even know why I know that name.
He was in Minnesota, Detroit.
Yeah.
And then he went over to Europe and just ran amok over. So I was always a big fan of him. And so I was in training camp, and he come over and said, "Hey, you're the Coaldale kid." And I was like,
and where was he from?
Coaldale. He's from Coaldale too. So
really,
I thought that was really cool. And I still think about that. And so that was the camp. I went to Minnesota, and I was happy to leave the North America and go to Europe after the year. So East Coast was a good deal. We had a good team. I think we should have won the Kelly Cup that year. We had a good squad that year. We were built for playoffs. It just didn't work out, unfortunately.
You would have ran into the Daytona Beach Bombers though.
So Florida is the Everblades. That's who beat us in the semis.
Oh, so then it's a different year than what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think I was 04.
Because we beat the Florida Everblades in the semifinals with the Daytona Beach Bombers in game 7.
Okay, well maybe we were the round before that in the semis. Maybe you beat them after.
I think it might be the same year, because when I was looking it up, it looked like around the same time.
Well, they had a good team, and we just
was Vince Bellissimo on the team.
Yes, he was.
Western Michigan Bronco.
Yeah, he was good, really good. And Frankie McDonald was on that team. Good man.
Yeah. So we beat them, and
so it was the same year.
Yeah, game 7. We did it. We got it done. Don't worry about it, folks. We beat them.
Good deal.
But then we lost to the Steelheads and Derek Nesbitt, that punk.
Oh yeah. So then I shouldn't say we should have won, because we didn't even come close. So, but I thought we had a good spot.
That was that year where, like, I have bonds for life with those guys because we worked so hard to get there. But like, you got to the Idaho Steelheads, and like, shit, we were done. We were. It's a grind.
Oh, that East Coast, man, that's tough.
Something.
That's so
yeah, and they don't even make a lot, right? And then it's then it's about the love. And I don't know, it's like you talk about spit chicklets and that, right? And you got all those NHL stars that, like, they have all this publicity and they have all the stuff, and it's like, you know what, you guys can have the NHL. I'll take everything else.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because I think these are the guys with the stories. These are like, when you're in the NHL, you're not doing that. Like, you got a lot of money, but you're not doing the cool shit we were doing.
I remember that we were out of playoffs in Houston. So that's where my coach was like, "Do you still want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah, I still want to play. I feel I didn't even play the second half of the season." So he's like, "Do you want to go down and play for the East Coast team?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So long story short, so I got called back up to the American League. And so we were going to Gwinnett, and that was like a 20-hour bus trip with the sleepers. And I swear to you, we got to Gwinnett after 20 hours, got it checked in the hotel. All of a sudden I get a phone call from the coach in the American League. He's like, "We need you." I was like, "What?" What do you mean you need me? So then I had to go bust all the way back down, hop on a plane, and play that night. What I was like, what a meat market this place is.
It is totally different than
just brutal, guys. Whatever. So I was happy to.
okay. So then it all ends. Okay.
Yeah.
That North American year ends, but you decide to go to Europe. How does it happen, and how do you get to Klagenfurt, Austria?
Austria. Well, I had I was buddies with Joffrey Lupul, and this is actually a really cool story. So this is completely different, our trajectory in lives. So I got back that summer and we were pretty good buddies, and Loops is he's a beauty. And he's a beauty. And
always thought he was a pretty good looking fella.
Oh yeah. So anyways, he phones me up and he's like, Benny, he's like, I got tickets to go see the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Playboy Mansion.
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I'm going black bear hunting. So so he went out.
So hold on, what? You got offered to go to the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Playboy Mansion, and you went black bear hunting?
Yeah, I went black bear hunting. So love hunting, man. So,
everybody's got to make their own decisions, right?
That's right. So that's where my path went one way and his path went the other way, and still a good guy. Know his dad. His dad's a heck of a guy too. So that's that connection. So I was with his agent.
This may be a 4-hour episode.
This could be that his agent then got me hooked up with the Klagenfurt with Manny Viveros is the coach in.
So his old man got it done. It wasn't an agent. It wasn't like it was.
Well, his old man. They're buddies with his agent, and that's how I got over to Austria. Was through that connection. Okay. And then I know it didn't work out as good. There was a lot of pressure on that team. We signed a lot of old. That was a cool experience. We had Mike Craig.
I have him written down, a former Maple Leaf from when I'm a kid.
What a warrior, man. Like, just, you want to talk about stories? That's a man's hockey player right there. And I mean,
he's the type of guy you could go out for lunch with and it's 7 hours later.
Yep. Yeah.
And you wish you hit record in the shed.
Yeah. He's like paging Dr. Sutton. That's that era, from what's that hockey show back? Paging Dr. Sutton.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Anyways, old hockey show.
Jeez, you might be a different generation than me. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, go check out Tea with Miss McKay. And,
I don't. Yeah.
So
what's that? Youngblood.
Youngblood, there you go. That's that generation. Youngblood, Dean Youngblood. That's Craig.
I've been trying to convince my kid to watch that movie. It might be too old for him. Eh?
That's good. My kids get all the old shows too, so it's all good.
I know, but then do you not remember when our parents were trying to get us to watch old shows? You're like, this is brutal.
Brutal.
Is that us? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know. I don't like television now, so they get all the old stuff.
Yeah, I don't watch it either.
I don't like it either. So that's where that was a cool. We got a lot of high end players in Klagenfurt, and that was my first. It was, it's like going over to Europe. It's tough. It takes a bit to adjust, eh?
Well, I think there's a bit of adjusting, and there's also I think it's somewhat rare to just show up and be the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't know, because they signed all these high end guys from the DL because they wanted to win the league that year. And so I started off basically a third, fourth liner. And so your first few weekends, you don't get in the flow, how it goes. Right. And then the management, you have a couple bad weekends and you're the import and the team's not doing good. So I was the easy guy, chopping block. So it worked out pretty good. And actually, it ended, and then Beck, she came over, and we had a great holiday because of it. So it worked out pretty good.
So you got gassed right when she was coming over to visit?
Yeah, I got gassed, and then we ended up going to where did we go hunt? Venice. We went to Venice.
Oh,
yeah, we went to Venice for.
It's interesting, right? It's a dirtier town than I would have guessed.
You know what?
A lot of garbage around there when I went.
we were so young at that time, but I remember it was a great experience. We had so much fun there, and
Isn't it interesting the shit we got to do from playing hockey?
Honestly, that's where that trip I started liking olives and wine. Weird.
Olives. Oh, I didn't get into that.
Man,
I got into the wine. Got into it heavy.
You sit in the Mark Square when they got the wine going and the guys playing the music and the paintings and the stat. And that's a pretty good deal.
I still can't eat an olive. Don't matter how good the music is.
You got to try it, man. You got to try it. They're pretty good.
Before we get two more sidetracked, because we haven't even got to Ravensburg that much. We kind of have, but what food do you miss the most? Now that you're back home eating bears and shit, what do you miss?
Everything, man. The brat kartoffelns I loved that. The schnitzel, everything about the Schwabish food I loved.
I do know.
The Käse Spätzle.
Oh, so I'm making that now, right? Like I can make I make Spätzle here. I do that. I have a
crazy not to.
Yeah. Do you do it? You make it at all?
We started introducing Oktoberfest after harvest. So we had our first one a couple years back, and it's kind of a tradition where Rebecca's family is traditionally German, so they always made Spätzle and that sort of deal. So we've kind of brought the culture
cool
back home. So it's awesome. I love it. It's great.
So when we do a neighborhood Christmas crawl here, our house is like the German house, and then we get German music on, Glühwein, the full deal. Yeah.
The Hackschwein. Love the Hackschwein, man. That big pork knuckle.
Oh, I never really got into the pork knuckle.
Did you go to Munich at not Oktoberfest? The one beer hall in Munich was unreal. And
I know what you're talking about. The one that's like it's like Oktoberfest but year round.
Exactly. And they'd have this big pork knuckle.
See, I would get into the Weiss first. I don't know. I had a thing for them.
I love Wurstsalat. I always get chirped hard. All the boys would make fun of me. I love the Wurstsalat.
No way. You did not. You got a salad with the Wurst on it?
So good. With the pickles and some bread and a beer.
There's so many better things. What's wrong with you?
That's Wurstweisen, brother. That's Wurstweisen.
Lick me a mosh. What I miss though is like going to the grocery store, right? Yeah. And then you get your groceries and you're walking out in Bietigheim.
Yeah.
There'd be a place that would have the half chickens, or they'd have schnitzels sitting there and you get them on a bun with mustard. All I needed was a schnitzel on a bun with mustard, and I'm a happy guy.
What, the spam sandwich, the Speck sandwich.
Okay, you're getting off track again. What spam? Or are you talking about the
Leberkäse?
Leberkäse, yeah, that's good shit. Yeah.
With a little bit of mustard.
So are we saying that's spam?
Well, it's kind of, everyone says it's spam here, but I'm like, no, it's Leberkäse.
No, it's different. It's just a deli meat, but that's really good.
It is good.
It's really good.
And the pizzas, man. The pizzas were so
good.
Oh,
at the Italian places? Okay. Let's talk kebabs though. Did you get into that game?
Well, we our last 2 years there, we finally moved from the country. Then we lived downtown because we're like, man, we live on the farm all our rest of our lives. Let's go be some city kids.
Let's go live.
Our apartment was right next door to a kebab place. So that was our meal of choice on.
Did you go with the pitas or the wraps?
Wraps.
Yeah. Did you ever put the pommes in them? Have you ever done that?
Emma.
Genau.
Genauso. Out of punked, man.
Oh, sorry for farting to the mic, folks. I laughed. Yeah, I didn't mean to. Sometimes when you laugh, it could just come out, right?
Happens.
Okay. Klagenfurt. Gassed you. You had a good vacation to Venice, and then you get the deal in Ravensburg. How's that happen?
We actually signed it in Venice, down in the hotel. We lost her passport in the trip as to boot. So that was, I remember Beck was finishing her schooling. So we were trying to bounce signing contracts and finding passports. And and all that stuff. So that's how we signed the deal in Venice. And then that's where the story starts. And
So did you have an agent at this point? Who's making this deal with Ravensburg? How'd they find you?
Actually, the coach in Austria, Manny Viveros, heck of a guy. He felt awful how the situation planned out. And so he knew of this place and where it was and the organization. He said, it's an awesome place, Benny. And he felt bad how it shook down. And so he's the one that found me this place. And then
that's awesome. That's good for him.
Yeah. And then after that, I never had an agent. I always did my deals with the GM and Ravi straight up.
And yeah, it makes sense to do that. Ravensburg, we haven't really talked about it yet. So you get there, you don't know much about it.
Nothing.
It's by the Bodensee.
Yep.
What a spot in the world. We went there for a vacation one of the years, and we stayed. There was Switzerland. What was it? Switzerland, Austria, and Germany, all right there. And the wife and I had a hell of a night that night. We were at the beer gardens down by the lake, and there's music playing, and what a time.
What a place, man. I love it there. I want to go back so bad. So, yeah, I remember flying in that first time coming from Klagenfurt, and you're coming in, and I mean, you got this beautiful lake, and I love the mountains, and it's just like, wow.
For me, mountains are cool. Like, they're cool to look at. I would ski down them. I need a different knee probably now, but they're nice to look at. I don't know if I really want to do much else with them.
I remember the one trip back. We'd always, like you said, you're so close to so many countries. So we did as much as we could. So
you were giving her on days off. You were doing shit
all the time. You're an
outdoorsman. So what are you doing? What are you doing?
I love just checking out. I just love checking stuff out, man. I remember I found this kind of like this mountain cabin, and they're bringing their cows off from the mountain, like the cheese cows off of Braggins. And it was like tradition. It was like, it'd be like our roundups down here, and all these whatever German cowboys, and they got the bells and their leader hosing and walking by this Gaststube on top of the middle of nowhere. And I'm having a beer and a slice of bread and an onion, just loving life. And these milk cows come walking by, and it's like, that's where they make this famous cheese in this area. And you go talk to the guy, they take you to the their barns and show you. And I just loved it. It was awesome. There's so many good stories about.
It was so fun, right? Like when we first got over there, we went to a vineyard, and I'm good with the president of the Bietigheim Steelers, and we're hugging each other at the end of the night, and we're going out, and we're taking our whatever it's called when you get engaged, those photos, and we're doing it at the vineyard, and then like Justin Kelly's mom walked in on me taking a dump, and it was a great night, right? And like you see how they're making wine and shit, and you're like, I would have never seen any of this,
right? That's the one thing I remembered about you guys probably did the same thing in Bietigheim. Training camps were a month and a half too long, but during that time, we'd always, I don't know about you guys, we'd always go to like some little mountain village, and we would practice, and it was so cool because like the bond, you don't know all the new guys, and all the new Germans coming in, and it was just a great bonding experience.
We didn't do that. We did. We were in the town, and we would just run around a track as much as you possibly could until you were broken. And then you do that Monday to Thursday, 3 a days, Monday to Thursday. And then all the Germans would go home for their Friday to Sunday to see their families and do all the things. And then the imports would be in the town, just the 5 of us. And
Mondays suck, put it that way.
Mondays were brutal.
Brutal.
But you know what? We got to know each other. We got to love each other. And then guess what? Come playoff time, we do anything for each other. And that's how hockey works. So you know what? Sometimes teams need, and like you said, the captain knows best what the team needs. Sometimes in those situations, I was the captain, and I knew what teams needed. And sometimes you got to give her as a team to become a team.
And sometimes you weed out the problems,
out on those days.
on those trips. Go ring the bell. If you can't make it, go ring the bell and you can leave.
No, but and then the other thing is a lot of times is like the guys that are the most passionate about the team and the guys that want to win the most are the guys that show up on those days.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
They're not fun, but you got to do them.
Yeah. You have to go have fun with your team if you want to win.
That's right. Right.
Geez, it's weird how we have so much in common. We never even really talked other than that group chat that was,
that's right.
That's
right.
It's weird. I actually, though, I don't like to say nice things to people in my shed, but playing against you, so it would have been, well, every year there.
Well, because I don't know if you remember that my first year there, the year before they were in the third league. So it was a brand new team in the second division. And we had play downs to stay in the league, the second league, my first year.
So that's when you first got there. Yeah, I got sidetracked. I was going to say something nice to you, but I'm just going to move on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say it to you.
I appreciate it though. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. But you're right though. When you first get there, 26 goals in 35 games played.
Yeah.
So they had a tough start. You're in Austria. They're obviously having a tough start.
Yeah.
They bring you in. You run amok, 50 points in 35 games.
Yeah.
One guy on your team, just going to bring him up quick, just see if you know who he is.
Right.
Andre Kaufman.
Crazy Russian.
Yeah. So I played with him in Bietigheim when we won the championship.
That's right, you did.
Yeah. Have you seen him do the Russian knives?
He's pretty. He was a different dude. No, I haven't though. But
yeah, no, he did it. He did it after
successfully.
Yeah, oh yeah. It wasn't his first time. There's no doubt.
Oh
man, he did it so fast. It was insane. And then he screamed in Russian, and I was like, whoa. This was my Cabina Fest. I was doing a Cabina Fest at the basin. Do you know what a basin is?
Yeah.
Like where all the farmers are making like the fresh.
Right.
Yeah. So we're at a basin, and this was my favorite restaurant in town. And I'm like, I'm going to take the team to my favorite restaurant in town for my Cabina Fest. Yeah. And then he decides to do the Russian knives on on their nice old table and mess up their table. And then they were like mad that I was the guy that hosted it. And they messed up the table, but he did it around his fingers. And I was like, he did that so fast. He could have hit his finger
really bad.
And he was also the same guy that I've brought up before that would put his stick by the toilet before games. Did you see that?
He was weird. He was a different dude. He was a different guy.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll get in the shed and talk about the season. No. I don't know what we talk about because he couldn't speak English. So
I don't think he could speak a single word, could he?
No, we never talked. Not once.
No. I remember he loved the Turkish shower. He'd take the gear off and just give the old ox spray in the pits. And you're like, you can mix in a shower, man.
He didn't, you're telling me he didn't shower?
He didn't shower. There wasn't a lot of team camaraderie with him. I remember him.
But what was interesting though was Greg Schmidt, my Chet guy from Saskatchewan, had played with him in Dresden, and like he knew him and they were buddies, and like they could deal with each other, and they were like on the same page, and it brought everyone together, right?
That's sometimes you need a glue. Maloney was a glue. That's what Maloney did.
And that's what Schmitty was. Yeah. And those guys loved to muck her up.
Use them Russians usually do.
Okay. Klagenfurt. Yep, there we are. Ravensburg. We're in Ravensburg now. So relegation. That's brutal. I heard, so that must have been right at the start of the new arena, because I heard Dan Hallman, my fella from Bietigheim, we'd watch UFC fights together. Yeah. He said when he played in Ravensburg, there was no roof.
It was up on the mountain. The original rink was up on the mountain, and it was outdoor. It'd be like Krimichow. And then they built the nice one.
By the town. That's like by the Bodensee.
That's right.
So there's one up the mountain, you're saying?
Yeah,
There's
there was one because the town was. My understanding, they built all these towers because top of the mountain there was a castle, and all the peasants wanted to spy on the people in the castle. So that's why all these towers everywhere, and that's where they had the rink was in the castle. They still had the remains when I was there. There was no rink when I was there, but you could still see like the foundation. It'd have been a heck of a spot for a rink.
yeah. Danny Hellman, I got to get him in the shed here. He was the guy that played in that barn in the third league.
Unreal.
Yeah. So that barn though, that was a nice barn. I remember it. Not many good places for two-touch in it though for the away team.
No, well then
you one go outside really.
Yeah. Well, I mean the weather always pretty decent. It's pretty. You could always, there was a little area outside the rink. I think you could play two-touch if I remember correctly. So
what's interesting for me though is Ravensburg was always the other team that would come up when it came to like it's time to sign for next year. Yeah. And like my agent would be like, so Ravensburg's talking. And it's interesting when I talk to you and it's like they were, and I it's interesting, right?
Yeah, because I know that what a year. You probably know some of the older guys on my first, that Ronnie Newhook, he's an OHL guy. Great player. I think he still lives in Germany. And then the second year we had Jeff Richards, who's an Ontario guy. I don't know if you know him. He played for the Sioux.
I looked him up. I don't know the OHL guys, so right? Because I went NCAA.
College guy. Corey Stillman. They were good guys. Good. We had good teams. We had a heck of a line there for sure. So
Corey Stillman, I think's my age, and I think I know who that is. But it's interesting that like I always liked the Ravensburg area. Like you go to the arena, you see what it's like. You see how happy. For me, as hockey guys, when you're back in your shed at the end of the day, you go to different arenas. You go to Krimichow, you go to Bremerhaven, you go to all these different arenas. You can tell how happy the guys are on the other team. You can tell how happy they are playing hockey. Right. I got a group chat together like I did for you guys with the Glasgow clan because I played a game against them and I was like, those were some happy fellas. They were having fun playing hockey. And then you get their coach on, you get like those guys, some of them on, and you're like, you're all dandies. It's Stephen Meyer, it's Chris Frank, it's, and you're like, the recipe. And you're like, okay, so that they looked like they were having fun when they walked out of the arena. And I'm like, that's the type of shit I'm into,
Right? Get it. That's the guys I want to battle with.
Yeah, that's the guys I want to go out there with.
That's great. Grinding on and off the ice. Those are the guys you want in the foxhole, man. That was Ravi.
Yeah,
loved it. That's too bad we didn't link up, man. Would have been a great experience.
Yeah, I know. But anywho, so after the relegation year, you guys are good then. When is Draisaitl's old man the coach? How many years?
That year. So the next
year after the relegation?
Yeah, then he became coach.
So in relegation though, you had 12 points in 4 games.
Yeah, I wanted to stay in the second league. I didn't want to go.
That's natural. That's pretty competitiveness. But like who are you playing against? Krimichow and them?
Landshut. We played Landshut. Ty Morris, actually, we were playing against Ty.
And you had 12 points in 4 games and he went down.
Yeah, he went down. Yeah. So we were pretty happy. And it was almost like a minor. We got back home to Ravi after. It's like we won the cup. It was crazy. It was funny. It's like it
is true though. Like
we're the best losers.
Yeah. When you finish by winning your last game, you get to have more fun then.
Yeah, right. So it was just
if you finish second, it sucks way worse than winning the Baloney Bowl.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Ravi wasn't a very big place, right? So it's only about like 80,000 people. And
it looked like a cool place, man. It looked like a place I could fit right in.
And the downtown was so unique with the stores and the restaurants and the watering holes and just the culture. Like nothing has been wrecked by the wars. It was all still intact with all the castles and towers and the landscape. It was gorgeous. We called it the Shire. That's what it reminded me of. Lord of the Rings.
Bietigheim was an incredible spot, man. I loved it too, and
Yeah.
it's interesting, right? Like you were running. When I look back, like we've had our text, but like you look back on,
Weird, man.
but you look back on all this shit is like you were a winger, right? If Levs was playing center, there isn't that many dudes that are 5'7", 5'8", that played right wing.
Yeah.
That made a career playing hockey.
That's right. We were lucky, man. We were blessed. We had a good goal.
Yes. And then I would watch you play, and you were playing for Ravensburg. I'm like, what's that? What's that little punk making? What's he doing over there? Like, what's going on over there? Yeah.
I'm the small guy.
And then I'm like, oh, so, and then like you'd run your power play, and then I'd run my power play, and that's kind of how it works in Germany, right? Yeah. Like the imports are
your imports the guys.
Yeah, oh yeah, you better make it happen. Yeah. And like I always just found it interesting that like I had a respect for you because you played similar to me, but a little different. But like we were doing the very similar things over there.
The exact same thing on these different teams.
And there's not that many jobs in the world. And that's what I lost track of in Bietigheim. I think when I lost my way that year, when I just couldn't do it anymore, was there's not that many half walls. There's not that many small right-handed shot right wings that are getting paid to be hockey players in the world.
No, right? We're
the lucky. AHL on the coast, you're done by 22, 23 nowadays. And right. Like what we got to do, and we were like the same player out there, kind of, mucking around.
Right? Snipers that played, that wanted to
little right-handed shots that just wanted to win the goddamn game.
It's simple, man. It's simple, right?
Yeah.
That's what drives the bus.
And but like it's interesting because I always had like respect for you, and I never knew you, and I was like watching you play, and like we're doing our own thing, and I was like, that little fuck. Yeah, gonna get him next game, right?
That's right. I think you guys did. You guys always had our number. I know.
Okay, sorry. Last Andre Kaufman story.
Yeah,
he used to tan in his apartment. It was like clear on top. The sun would come in. He would get tanned, like tanned, right?
Only Russians.
So Draisaitl. Dad was your coach for how many years?
For all of them.
For all the good years.
All the good ones, yeah. He was.
So then, what did he do after that? Is he he's a good coach then?
Heck of a coach. He should actually be coaching in North America, to be honest with you. He was an awesome coach. He kind of like I was.
He seems to have raised a pretty good young puppy too.
Well, that too, and I know for me as an individual, the teams that for me personally and as an individual, he kind of like rounded out as I finally it all came together because of Peter. I know.
Is that right?
Yeah. Cause I mean, Willie was awesome. it was just high octane, man. Didn't think. And so Willie had that to work with, and I had some great coaches at the U of A that started like, okay, you actually need some structure. And, Peter's the one that kind of just, he was a guy that you challenged you, and you had to perform, and he demanded a lot. And he's the one that I credit to kind of putting my career as a hockey player kind of all together. And
what's interesting to me is when you say something like that, it's like, I'm not talking about like hockey, just playing hockey, but like when I went to Cardiff, Todd Kelman, the guy that brought me back like years later brought me back. But when I went over there and I saw him run a team, when I saw him run an organization, when I saw his attention to detail,
that's it
compared to other things I've dealt with in Europe.
Yeah.
Man, it was crazy. I showed up, you got the jersey set out for your kid. with, it says Walton 18, and there's a little jersey for your kid when you show up the day of. Your
That's
fridge
awesome.
is full of food. You got everything ready waiting for you, and it's like
That's
they
pro.
want you. You're ready to play. Like, let's go do this. And
Right?
it was different than some other places.
I bet you as a player and as an athlete, you want to perform for that. You know,
And you want to do better.
right? Like we just want to be cared for, know that people care for us. And that's how, I mean, I was taking care, not only me, my family was taken care of with Ravi, and it was reciprocal, man. I mean, I love playing for them, and they loved us, what we brought. And it was a beautiful relationship, you know, and something
But
like that.
I think it's the same in the real world, is that in the real world, if your boss, if the person cares about you and cares about your family,
You want to do them good.
like, then you'll work harder. You'll do more things for
Right.
them. You know, you're a family. You're
Sure.
all
I mean,
part of it.
I mean, those are the lessons that I've taken from what I learned as an athlete. And I every day is the same on the farm. I mean, we have guys running around on the farm that help us get the job done. And it's the same thing. If you treat them like they're just workers or employees, I mean, you're not going to get the most. You treat them as people and you care about them. People will want to do good for you. It's not a complicated equation, I don't think.
You know what? And
I know if I show up to work every day and I've been on some teams and coaches where you show up and all you think you're scum or you can't do anything right. Well, your confidence shatters, and then
where's like, and that, but
where's that?
When you can get people to want to do good for themselves, but also for the team, but also for the coach, for everybody, just let's be good. Let's be good at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Then you usually can be.
Absolutely. And Claire Drake said, it's amazing what you can accomplish when no one cares who gets credit.
It's true, though.
Very true. It's very, very true. And I mean, Peter was the epitome of that, man. I mean, he dogged us for sure, but I mean, like we were a good line. We knew what we could do, and he challenged us, but he also gave us a lot of leeway, a lot of slack in the rope. And I think we did as best we could. I know there's always peaks and ups and downs. I remember when we were actually playing Schwinn, and it was a bad stretch in the season, and I admit it. And I always pride myself on always trying to play as hard as I can every single shift. Well, I know there's this one play where I completely copped out, completely. And I still remember to this day, and it bugs me. It was one of those shots where like, it was that Borzecki, the big defenseman for Schwinn. And
left-handed shot, 25.
Yeah, and he had a pretty good shot. And I remember it was one of those where it was the halfway zone while you're either blocking it, and I just did the old.
You let it go.
I let it go, and I remember it. He
let you know.
He let me know. He let me have it in video session. I always pride myself on not doing those sort of things, and that's where he was just like accountable. You know, you're just because you got X amount of points or you got this award last year, that doesn't matter.
You're in it together. Yeah,
do the little things, and it's attention to detail. And
the best. Every time I was playing, the best I ever played hockey was when I was playing all sides of the puck as hard as I could.
Right? Simple. And that's what Peter did. I never got that point. And even Levs always gives himself a hard time, but man, old 12, he backtracked that year, and and we done.
He sure fucking gave it up at Denmark.
Maybe I remember. Maybe I just remember me and Maloney doing
just
that.
Just kid, Levs. I know you're not listening.
Yeah. Well, I'll defend Lev till the day. Oh
God, that guy, man, that guy wins games. That guy, he's such a beauty. He's a gamer, and then he knew how to play the game too. Like he would flop on me in front, like he would get me so pissed off, and then as soon as I give him one, he'd flop, and I'd be like, "Are you fucking serious, you little bitch?" And he wouldn't give a shit. He'd just smile and then go score on the power play with you, you little punks.
I never met a man like Alex Levitt. What a guy. Well, he was a character.
He's a character.
Character, man.
You need character guys.
Yeah, you need guys and that was a funny stick on him, eh? Like everyone thought he was just kind of like this selfish, point guy. But I mean,
he's not a selfish guy. He's just doing his thing.
And I remember he actually was like, he was awesome. Just so smart. He would just pick guys apart. It was hilarious.
Man, it drove me insane. He is one guy that actually made me insane was, you try to like lead leagues in scoring. That's what I would try and do, right, in my business. And, I didn't do it the year in beating high. And then I'm trying to come back from my knee and I'm like, I'm going to do it someday. I'm going to lead a league in scoring. Yeah. And then Germany pushes me out. I go to Denmark and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finally lead a league in scoring. Yeah. 12 games into the season, Alex Levitt decides to switch from Sweden to Denmark. There's only a 40-game season.
Oh,
he gave me a 12-game head start in a 40-game season.
So he played 30 games and
beat me by like 10 points.
Oh, Levs, he knew how to get points, man. Like he was a shark.
Dude, he came to Denmark and like Dan Seaman, shed guy, was the coach. And I'm like, so he's like, so what do we do on the penalty kill? I'm like, oh, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Everybody will be open. Alex Levitt will just skate around and everybody's going to be open. Oh, it doesn't matter what we do.
It was that I'm not to be biased because I had just the pleasure of being able to play with those wonderful, not only players, but men. And there was so many, it was pretty formidable power play that group we had. And Peter was,
it's Kinch, you.
Kinchy, yeah. I was down below.
Kinch, you, Maloney. Okay. I already know what the power play is. Kinch is up top. Yeah. So then I'm down low. Goal line and half wall.
Yeah.
Maloney's mucking it up out front, and then there's another guy going up and down the back side.
Yeah, there was a young German that all he did, and actually, like, it was a thing all year long because I bet you he could have tucked in probably 22 goals that season, but just because of atomic bombs blowing up in his blade, and
he just couldn't quite get her in there.
Just couldn't. He couldn't
do it.
Couldn't get a handle.
Couldn't get her.
And so it got to the point where he was just a decoy. He would be wide open. And he still passed to me or Maloney. And so sure enough, this Marcus Gleich scored a huge goal for us
I think he became a Steeler for years.
Yeah, he actually was a good defenseman. He's a young guy, good guy. And he actually scored, I think, in the second game or something to tie the game up and take it in overtime with that same play. And we're like, you did it, Gleiche, that was a pretty dirty power play, man. Like, I mean, Lev's he could walk the wall, do what he did
you and Levs on a power play and then Kinch up top with Maloney mucking it up out front. That is some wild shit. Like, people don't get it. So I actually don't think people get it. When you say European hockey players might get missed and people don't talk about them, your line of Levitt, you, and Maloney, I honestly think that line could play in any league, and I think you would do just fine.
I honestly
in any league.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. It was we had team toughness. We were smart. We played the game how it should be. And a lot of it has to do with how Peter conducted his team, how we conducted ourselves. And that was the epitome of this journey, like you talk about what's the most memorable, and nothing to take away.
And then you get your jersey retired at the end of it, right?
Right. So the last year kind of is always a side note because I was injured most of the year and I was kind of done. It's like your shoulders are bad, hips, knee, the whole bit, right? And
yeah.
You're done. And I always wanted to play till I was 30, and our daughter was born, and kind of itching to get back home. And so I told the organization, I'm like, in February, I'm like, this will be because they want to do another contract. And obviously I didn't have a good season, so there wasn't many options. And I was like, you know what, I'm time to go home. And so I told him, I was like, I'll never play another game. My last game was with you guys. And he's like, well, no one's ever going to wear 29. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I remember sitting at the coffee shop.
How was that like to be told that like nobody will ever wear 29 and it'll be in the rafters? Like when you send me that picture, like as a hockey guy, as a guy that grew up just wanting to be a hockey guy, kind of like my kid is now.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what it's about, isn't it?
I mean, like you're going to talk about a storybook. I mean, like the Ray Bork deal, right? I mean, my last game was watching your jersey go up in the stands. I mean, I thank the good Lord every day I wake up knowing, I mean, just, I almost get choked up just talking about it right now. And
you should. I get choked up all the time in here.
You know,
it's like,
it was like sitting at that table. And I mean, I was forever grateful for what they did to my family, how they treated me and my wife and our kids. And then that was the kind of like the icing on the cake, you know. And it's like, man, this is what a way to go in the sunset. And you're, like I said, I thank my stars every morning, just the journey that I had. And so fortunate, the people, the memories. I mean, obviously you're not playing to have those accolades, and that was just, it was a great way to finish. And I couldn't be happier, man. Yeah.
Okay. I had a lot of other questions, but I think we should just shut her down. What I'm going to say is that all resonates a lot with me. Yeah. Everything we did is very, I don't know, like the paths, they don't align, but like then once we got to Germany and we were doing the same thing and we were like the same player, like doing the same thing, like, and I'd see what you were doing. I just had a lot of respect for you. And like, it's interesting, right? Like, there's not many guys in the world that have had experiences like we have. And it's weird for me, like starting this and like, you know, I can tell you're a little nervous, like even saying good things about yourself, and like your jersey's retired and not beating, Jesus Christ, Ravensburg, and it's like, and then all the things you've done, you don't really like talking about yourself. You'd rather talk about the team and what everybody else did. And it's like, I don't know. It's just,
I remember when you got the intro for the first of the boys around, so Brandon Walton, I know it. Yeah. Biedenheim, you know, and you start listening and you're like, oh, I very, very grateful for you doing this. And it's been a lot of fun going back down the memory lane the last month and a bit. And man, it's a great program what you have there. I hope it keeps going and growing, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah.
And keep on. I mean, like I said earlier, I think us boys, we kind of get forgotten in the whole grand scheme of hockey, and it's nice to keep this alive a little bit. It's fun.
Right. Like, it's like, we were hockey guys. We loved it. And our stories, I think, are more interesting than some of the other ones, you know, and I love it. Like playing against you for years, and I would watch you play, and I watch shit. That's what I do, I guess. But I always had respect for you, and I always watched you play, and I was like, God, this guy's a fucking gamer. And then I see what, like, and it makes sense to me that like when I reach out to you and like you come on, is that I see these videos of you winning championships and scoring overtime winners. Is like, that's what the player you were. You were electric out there, and I was a huge fan. And that year you got hurt, which I never even asked about, when I finished second in the league in scoring, was like, I know who is my competition when it comes to leading a league in scoring.
Right
And I
there,
knew that me and you were going to be getting
guys.
after it that year.
Right. I thought, I'm like, man, I was like you. I never won a league champion or a league. Not that I ever wanted points or I didn't,
But it'd be cool just to do it, right?
you know. And I remember when Levs did his, you know, when we were playing together, and you're like, it's always kind of. I was always a team guy, you know, like that was always number one.
Right.
And
But it's always in the back of your mind, like,
but,
geez,
you know, I
be nice.
realistically, my job is an offensive guy, and that's my job was to put points up. So you want to be the best way you do. And I thought that was the year I'm like, man, Bobby ran and we had a big guy, Cal McLeod. I'm like, we were pretty, it was almost like a different version of what Levs and Big Dog was that year. And I ended up I bought a bad horse and I got fucked off pretty bad. And I guess is what it is.
Goddamn horse. No, but seriously, I don't know what else to say other than you're a shed guy, and I always knew you were. And what's interesting to me is even if the guys don't play on my team, I still know who's who when I like look around. It's like when I went to the Columbus Blue Jackets camp and I see Jason Chimera and I see Anson Carter, and I'm like,
those are guys.
It doesn't take long to like just see who's
a guy.
Who's a guy? Who's a team guy?
Who's one of the guys? That's it. It's not hard. It's not
no,
hard.
and I always saw that watching you play, and then
that's
you played similar to me, and then you were scoring lots of goals, and I was like, God, but he's a winger. Like, how does this work if I go there? But I always, I'd always be
made it work. We'd have made it work.
We would have made it work. And this has been another episode of 2 Ales and Hockey Tales with Benny and Wally.